child advances, we all advance. Be a reader, tutor or mentor, give, advocate.
A fight today after school, 3 o'clock in the parking lot. You try and run, I'm gonna track you down. You go to a teacher, it's only gonna get worse.
Welcome to the Inland Sports Show. Your leader in sports in the Inland Empire. The Riverside. Now, here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Cora.
What is up, and welcome to the Inland Sports Show. It's a Wednesday here in the IE. The sun is out. The storm has blown through. We've survived the great storm of 2018. We're all here to talk about it. Big week of sports here in the Inland Empire, and we're going to bring it to you. We got some great guests coming up a little bit later in the show, including the great Justin Bell, who, Jeff, we're still hoping to see Justin Bell, the interim head coach of the UC Riverside men's basketball team, get his first win as the head coach, and hopefully they can get it done on their home floor at SRC.
He's going to win the rest of his games. I feel it in my bones.
Think it's going to happen, huh?
I think it's going to happen. He's going to win every single game. He's going to go on a tear, and they're going to make the NCAA tournament. He's going to slap everybody around and say, ha!
Well, tonight could be the night. Tomorrow night when they take on UC Davis, who's an NCAA tournament team, which is crazy. The Aggies, I remember when they were a Division II school not too long ago, and they've already went to the big dance.
Yeah, they have a pretty good player in Shima Maneki, a JC transfer, came in last year and really lit the Big West up by storm. He is a big forward, can play in the post, can step out and stretch the floor. He's a really good player.
All right, so we'll talk more UCR basketball later in the show. Also, University of Redlands football. They've got a 10-game schedule for the first time in a long time. They usually have those wacky 9-game schedules at the U of R. And we're going to have the new running backs coach on the show, Pete Smolin, who is the longtime head coach at Citrus Valley High School in Redlands, but now he goes to the college ranks. So we're going to talk to Coach Smolin, and he's going to be calling in from a very live, secretive location. He's hunkered down in a bunker somewhere. Well, we can ask him on the air where he's at.
Well, he's always done the shock and awe when he was the head coach prior, so maybe this year he's doing some more shock and awe with the Redlands running backs.
Maybe he will bring it to the U of R. In fact, we go way back with Coach Smolin. We've got the shock and awe U.S. Marines shirt on the wall in the Inland Sports Studio.
There it is.
This is 2014. You know what I mean? Like, we're OGs, like from the very start, man.
So maybe he'll bring that mentality over to University of Redlands, and those running backs will be tough. They'll be able to fight guys, too, after they get tackled.
Because they're trained by the Marines, right?
Trained by Marines.
Only the best. So we'll talk to Coach Smolin as well. And then at 4:30, we talk a little high school soccer now and then, but this one is huge. These are two teams that are two of the best in the entire state of California, Arlington and Riverside Poly. They're going to get together tomorrow. They're both ranked right now in the CIF Southern Section rankings, and they're going to go head-to-head in league play for the first time tomorrow. So Arlington head coach Kevin Watson's going to join us live on the show because, Jeff, this is the battle for Middle-earth. I mean, this is a huge high school soccer match in the IE.
So does that mean there's going to be little short guys running around with hair on top of their feet or on the bottom of their feet? Are they like
Frodo Baggins?
Yeah, those
hello, Frodo.
Because I know soccer guys can be little.
Hey, whoa.
Oh, that's right. You played soccer. Sorry about that.
I was a pretty big soccer guy.
You're only like 5'4".
No.
You tell everybody you're 5'11".
That's wrong.
There's no way.
Listen, when I had my Pele Umbro Supremes with the long studs, because, see, I played Northern California where it was always wet and muddy, so you had to have the long studs. We didn't have turf, man. You guys are all fancy down here.
Wait, did you call them studs?
Studs. They were long studs.
Just cleats.
Call them studs or screw-ins. So if you had the long screw-ins, so you could just dig around in the mud, because it was like a quagmire up there, man. It was just messy and muddy and wet, and you had to have long studs to run around. So with my studs on, I know you don't want to hear this, but I was probably pushing 6 feet.
No.
Yeah, I was. I probably was. My Pele Supremes, I probably was.
Hey, you had Pele Supremes? You get about the same time I had the OJ Juice Mobiles when I was playing football. I did. They were spot built, and they were called the Juice Mobiles. Yeah, look them up. It was the Spot Mobiles.
Can we Google that? There's probably an image of those somewhere,
Trust
right?
me. They were the juice machines, the OJ Spot built. Yes, I wore them.
All right, so we'll get you all set for Riverside Poly in Arlington. That's tomorrow in boys soccer. That's a huge match. Huge basketball games going on. Jeff, we're going to run down some of those scores and the games taking place tonight as well. And again, Justin Bell a little bit later in the show. But the Inland Sports headlines right now, the big one is the Inland Empire All-Stars are already on the practice field. And I reached out to some of the coaches and the organizers and said, I need to stop by practice. And they said, oh, yeah, sure. Now that the rain has stopped, now that the great storm of 2018 has blown through the Inland Empire, now you want to come out because I saw pictures and video of the guys, and they were out there in the rain practicing. That's how bad they want this, Jeff.
Stormwatch 2018.
Believe it.
So they were really practicing in the rain? It's an all-star game. Why don't they just go in the gym and practice? Come on.
See, that's the deal. You think it's an all-star game. You're like, oh, whatever. They just want to have a good time and have fun. No, man. They were out in the rain, battling, practicing, going hard, pads on, helmets on, because they want to win the 33rd annual edition of the Inland Empire All-Star Classic.
I just want to see some points being scored. I want to see the score like 115 to 112.
Well, last year it was a defensive struggle. Well, kind of. It was 21-17. We got some points at the end of the game. It was 21-17 as Jim Walker came out of retirement. Remember that? He came out of retirement from Redlands High School and came back to win his final game as a high school head coach.
We drove up in a Winnebago and parked right on the track. Got out in his flip-flops. He had to put out his barbecue, and then he coached the game, got to put his barbecue back, and then drove off to nowhere.
I think he had like a little putting green. Like he was just outside, just having a good time barbecuing, put on the putting green, a little artificial turf, and just under his awning, having a good time.
He had little dogs pooping on the side. And it was just. Then they got up and they drove to Walmart to spend the night because you can spend the night in Walmart for free.
Kenny, you can park RVs there.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
See, you're not cool.
Not a big Walmart guy.
No, seriously. If you have a big RV, you can park in the Walmart parking lot overnight.
I had no idea.
That's how I live. That's how I roll.
And we joke about it, but no, Coach Walker said, as soon as he's done with football, he's going to hop in his RV and he's just going to travel. So that's why we say he literally had it parked outside.
He did.
Won the All-Star Classic, hopped in his Winnebago, and just drove off into the sunset with a win.
What a lucky guy. I wish I could do that.
And he beat Derek Johnson from formerly of Notre Dame last year. Again, that was 21-17 last year in the IE All-Star Classic. It's back to the Riverside County versus San Bernardino County format. And we've got Matt Logan from Centennial. He's coaching the Riverside County All-Stars. And Nick Matheny out of Summit High School. He's guiding the San Bernardino County All-Star team. All right, I'm just going to put this score out there so we can just get through this because we're doing the headlines here on Inland Sports. The Lakers barely snuck past. It was really close. It was kind of a controversial game because
controversial. Lakers, baby, beat the Kings.
It was 99-86.
Yeah,
it pains me. It pains me to even say that, to utter those words. See, here's what pains me. Like, my Kings are so bad that they're losing to like the worst Lakers team I've ever seen. Like, how are we losing to these guys? Are we that bad?
It's karma. It's karma because it's the Kings, man.
Ask Larry Ball.
Larry Ball. Hey,
you know what he'd say? Oh, I'll give you Jello and LaMelo, man. You Kings will win the title next year.
You know, I'm already Larry Ball. I've decided if I'm the Lakers, and I've watched Lonzo Ball, and trust me, I like him because he's he plays for the Lakers. You know, but he's not scoring. He had 5 points. He had 10 rebounds and 11 assists. That's good, but he's got an ugly jumper. If his dad causes any more problems, this is what I would do. I would say, look, Larry, if you keep talking about our team, I'm going to trade your son if I'm Magic Johnson. I'd just trade him.
Yeah, just get rid of him. And there's stories out right now. I know the Los Angeles Times has done a big story about.
They did?
Get out of the business of the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, get out. Get out of Lonzo Ball. Get out of LeVar Ball. Just completely get out of the ball business because it's not worth it. It's not worth the circus.
We have friends that work for those guys.
I don't know how they do it.
I'm just worried about them because they're gonna be destitute.
Yeah,
because they're
gonna
be living in the streets wearing Zoe shoes.
They're saying the Ball family owes money to everybody, and they're getting these bad grades and from the Better Business Bureau. And it's just messy. And then did you hear? So the reporters were asking Lonzo Ball about the fact that his dad, Larry Ball, was asking or telling a reporter about Luke Walton's lost control of the team and he doesn't know how to coach the Lakers and da-da-da-da-da. And they asked Lonzo about what his dad said. And instead of saying, no, man, Luke Walton's the head coach of the Lakers. I'm going to follow this guy into battle. Whatever he wants, I'm going to do. You know what he said?
No.
He said, I'll play for anybody. That does not sound like an endorsement for Luke Walton. So then they went to Kyle Kuzma.
Oh, I did see that.
Kyle Kuzma, who's a stud, and they asked him the same thing, and he said the right answer. No, Luke Walton's our head coach. He hasn't lost any of us. We all play 100% for this guy. He's the head coach of the Lakers, and we're gonna, run through a brick wall for him. Right. And Lonzo's answer was, I'll play for anybody.
Lonzo Ball, you are now starting to go on the salty side of Jeff Gorham.
You know what? He could have diffused it. He could have said, my dad, he's a little eccentric. He's going to say what he wants, but, man, I love Coach Walton. We all believe in him. He's doing some good things here, and we feel like we're going to turn a corner because he's a great coach. He could have said something like that.
Instead, he's just a son of a biscuit.
He said, I'll play for Jeff Gorham.
But wait. Wouldn't that mean, like, he goes against his dad? Like, if he...
Yes, he should. So, he should go against his dad.
He should, yeah. But you're right, yeah. I mean, do you want the Lakers mad at you or your dad mad at you?
I'd rather have. And his dad is controlling all the business of the ball. Like,
yeah.
Think about it.
He's the middle ball, as Pep
no,
said.
Jello's the middle ball.
Yeah, but it's just funny you said middle ball.
He's the middle ball.
Hey, are there 3 balls or 4 balls?
There's 4 balls if you talk about Larry Ball.
That sounds like a mutant, but okay.
But just the kids, when you talk about the middle ball, it's Jello. Jello's the middle ball.
Well, it sounds like they have personal problems.
Oh, my gosh.
3 balls.
All right, well, speaking of the big ball, Lonzo Ball, they beat the Kings. He had 10 boards, 11 assists, but only 5 points.
Yeah, if you can't score, get the hell off the court. No one wants to see that. Just get off the court, you dummy. Shoot the ball.
And that's how bad my Kings are. They couldn't even beat the Lakers.
Hey, they lost. Your Kings lost to the second worst team in the NBA. Maybe they can. You know what, though? Maybe they can beat Atlanta. Maybe.
You ever have those moments you open Twitter and you're like, that can't be right? Like, I saw the Kings score, and I'm like, nah, someone's probably out there just messing with me. No, that can't be right, and it was the Lakers were winning.
I would have texted you last night and made fun of you, but it was your daughter's birthday, so I wanted to leave you alone.
If I saw you texting me and it has had anything to do with, like, said Lakers or whatever, I'd have just been like, whatever, I'll look at it tomorrow.
Seriously, I was going to do it. I said, my wife, because Smedberg said, hey, don't mess with him right now. He's having some family time.
That's right. And last night, you know what? Last night when I got home, because I'm kind of OCD in terms of like getting my clothes out. Like I did it as a kid for like getting your clothes out for school for the next day and doing those sorts of things. So I got home last night and I picked out my suit already for the UC Riverside basketball game.
Hey, I did that too, but guess what?
Did you? What?
My
wait, you're wearing a polo?
No.
Oh.
No, I got my suit. I brought him. Hey, I have to iron my shirt tonight. My iron blew out, so I'm going to go break into my parents' house and steal their iron.
What's going on with you? Your refrigerator broke? Like nothing's working in your house.
Yeah, somebody needs to call my house. Hey, is your refrigerator running? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you go catch it? But no, seriously. No joke, man. I plugged in my iron and it started spitting. It was like spitting out all this white water. I said, this is crazy.
You might have some gremlins in your house.
Yeah, there's something
I'm
going
just
on.
very upset, so I'm going to go break in. My parents are out of town, so if anybody knows where they live, okay, don't go rob them, please. They're out of the state. They're out of the area, I should say. And I'm going to go over, and
But Jeff will be there.
I'm gonna
ironing his clothes.
Iron the clothes tomorrow.
So I picked out. I'm ready to go. My suit looks good, and
Nice.
what I was gonna say was I had my Sacramento Kings shirt already laid out because I'm like I'm gonna wear that tomorrow because we're gonna beat the Lakers because the Lakers are awful, right? So I'm gonna wear this tomorrow for Jeff.
Are you wearing it?
And no, I'm not wearing it, man. I feel bad. But you know what? I'm hanging with the team because it's gonna be a story of redemption. So when they come back to the top, when they're the king of the mountain, I'll be like, you know what? I stuck with them, man. I remember how bad it was. Remember that time when they lost to that sucky Lonzo Ball Laker team?
Yeah.
Remember how bad they used to be? And then when they're on top, I'll be like, I remember those days.
But when have they ever been on top? Have they ever been on top?
Lots of times.
No.
All the time, man.
Their best player used to be Reggie Theus.
No, their best player was Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Bobby Jackson,
Wayman
B-52, Brad Miller.
Wayman Tisdale.
You're killing me. Hey, one more other score, and you heard the game live right here on Fox Sports IE 1350 last night. It was Aztec Gold. San Diego State beating up San Jose State 84-49. Matt Mitchell, he fouled out. He had 5 fouls. Kind of a modest game.
I watched
for him.
part of that game too, and he didn't shoot the ball well. I turned it off. I saw him shooting air ball. I said, I got to turn this off.
Yeah, he just had 7 last night, but it's still a blowout win. I mean, he shows up when they really need him. Did they really need him against San Jose State? Not really. It was a big blowout win against the Spartans. So if you're looking at the Mountain West Conference standings, the Aztecs are at 3-1. Again, Nevada is at 4-0. They're on top of the conference standings, and Boise State at 4-1. Big win for Aztec Gold, San Diego State. You can hear the Aztecs all season long right here on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. The Inland Sports Show is proudly brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled. Quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by great customer service and low prices. We love you, Bill Navigato. Ken Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, and they still absolutely dominate. In fact, I was emailing with Jason over there at Ken Sporting Goods. I said, man, Pep, we are just so happy to be part of the Inland Sports Show because, again, we're trailblazers, Jeff.
We are trailblazers.
Everyone on this show, we're all pioneers going weekdays here in the Inland Empire.
Yeah, I was the first to do this in the Union.
And so big thanks to Ken Sporting Goods. It's just as, they're proud to have us. We're more than proud to have them. So thank you, Ken Sporting Goods. Boost Performance Training in Corona with Coach Ray Bass. Check out the Overtime program for those younger athletes going to high school. And also, it doesn't matter what sport you play in. Football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, they can hook that up too. And Catalano Motors in Corona off Temescal Canyon Road. You can buy, you can trade, you can finance, and they'll make it super easy at Catalano Motors. You can check out their website at catalanocars.com. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show. You got some local scores, Jeff, because our phones were blowing up. We had local coaches in the area sending us basketball scores last night. I was like, this again. Like I was looking at the Kings-Lakers score. I was looking at some of these. I'm like, this can't be right, man. Who's messing with me? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Am I on punked right now? What's going on?
I can't wait to go over some of these scores. Can't wait to make fun of some of my buddies too.
You make fun of them?
I called my buddy last night who got hammered by 40.
Ugh.
And he's like, seriously.
Which one? There was a couple blowouts.
Well, I called Justin Norman because I used to get beat by 40 like it was nothing all the time.
So you totally know what he's going through.
Yeah. So I called him and I said, hey, how you doing? He was like, I'm all right.
Yeah.
So I just said, hey, how's it feel, buddy?
Shoved it in his face.
He got drilled by 40, and I do feel bad for him. I'm not gonna lie. I did tell him though I was gonna make fun of him on the radio today.
All right, so we'll talk some high school basketball, pass along some of the big scores from last night, and then in about 15 minutes, it'll be the new running backs coach at the University of Redlands, Pete Smolin. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Eat.
That's right. Welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. That's Pep, because Jeff has Where's Jeff? I think he's sleeping outside. Right?
I love that. You have your own, but yours is, well, mine's the Wiggles. Yours is Devo. That's like a real group.
That's like...
Hey, what are you talking
I'd rather have the Wiggles, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I do like the Wiggles. They're really, really funny.
They're funny. Like when you're up at 6 a.m. and you don't want to be up early and you've got little kids.
6? That sounds like a dream. I'm talking 3 and 2 o'clock in the morning. I hear the monitor go, and you hear, Dad, Mom. Mom. And then one of us has to get up, and it's always Carla because I'm a wimp.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Weak sauce.
Terrible.
Hey, we had a big night of basketball. We're now knee-deep into league play. Some big games already going on. Later in the show, we're going to talk on some of the games that are taking place tonight. There's
some big ones tonight?
Huge games tonight. But last night, we were getting some scores. I know your cell phone was blowing up. My cell phone was blowing up because we had some blowouts. Blowing up on the blowouts.
Yeah, we'll just do the first league of the day. Let's start off with Patriot upending my Ramona Rams 72-71.
Uh-oh.
Patriots 7-10 on the league, 1-0 in league. Ramona 8-9, 0-1.
That was a battle.
Battle right there. Then we got a little goofy. Then we got Harupa Valley 74, Norda Vista 26.
You mean Super Dupa?
Super Dupa. And Mark Gard, the mustache, took on the Brian Bell in his eyeball, and he won 74-26. So Novi 1-13 on the year, Harupa Valley 7-9, and finally rounding out the rest of the River Valley League, Hillcrest 70, La Sierra 30.
Wait, La Sierra's won 5 straight River Valley League championships. Am I right?
Hey, you are right, and I must say this: when I saw that score last night, I got a text from Jackson Wood, and then of course I immediately called Justin Norman and made fun of him because he has won 5 times and he's got t-shirts for all 5, and he I used to get blown out by 30, 40, 50, 60, and so I just wanted to see how he was feeling. He sounded like he was doing okay, and I told him I'd make fun of him. So Justin, I'm making fun of you. I'm sure you'll have a better game next time as Hillcrest put the hurt to you guys 70-30. Hillcrest is pretty good though.
They are pretty good.
They got that big guy. Can you say it right now?
Vic Ohia Obioha.
That's pretty darn good.
Wasn't it?
You have a very good memory. I can never remember any names. And I noticed, though, you remember guys. I mean, you'll meet them like one time, and an hour and a half later, you'll see them and you'll know their name.
I try to say it over in my head. You know what I mean?
Do you really do that?
Yeah, I make a conscious effort. Like, you know what? I'm probably going to see this guy again. His name was Greg. His name was Ralph.
You really do that?
No, I do, yeah, because I've been so bad about it. I okay, I got to remember that coach's name because I'm probably going to go back to him in a little bit later and say, hey, can I get an interview? Or, So I try. I actually make an effort.
Is this something you learn in journalism college?
No, this is something I learned from my wife.
Your wife really taught you that?
She's really smart, yeah. Yeah,
but
she's
seriously,
she's good looking and smart.
Yeah,
so.
She is cute. I'm going to say this. I always picture you like when you have all these amazing talents. I always think he learned it in journalism college.
No. Most of the stuff I learned from my boy Brandon Dunn, who we had on the show last week.
No Fun Dunn.
From ABC 15, and he was fun.
A lot of fun
He was a little too much fun.
Too much fun Dunn.
He was a good dude. Do you have any other scores? Because we got Pete Smolin coming up.
I have plenty of scores. Let's go to the San Andreas League. Harupa Hills 56, Sanji 42.
San Jizzle.
Southwestern League, Murrieta Mesa 74-47 over Chaparral.
Murrieta Mesa might win the Southwestern League.
They could.
Great Oak's good too.
Okay, wait, we got to go some other Inland Valley League. Riverside Poly 54, Valley View 52, a 2-point ball
That's
game.
a battle.
Man,
for
the Bears.
Yancey Dodson and the Bears.
I even told Yancey, I said, I was a little closer than you'd like. He said, but they're on the road. Butler had 13, Kund 11, Johnson 10, Rubidoux 7, Thornton 6, Flanagan 3, and yada yada. We're going to say that. And then we had Notre Dame 85 over Woodcrest. 85-27 over Woodcrest Christian. So the Ambassador League looked like it's going to have to go through Notre Dame once again.
Yeah. Notre Dame is clearly the team to beat, but Aquinas is kind of on the rise. Now, I don't know if I'm saying they're going to knock off Notre Dame.
Aquinas is good.
Aquinas has a pretty good team. They got a good young player named Nick Hopkins, but Notre Dame clearly the class of the Ambassador League. They went all the way to the Southern California Championship game last year. Oh, we did it live. We had a couple Notre Dame games live, so we know Notre Dame's good. They've got basically everybody back from that team that went deep in the state playoffs. So, yeah, they're They're, I think, head and shoulders still above everyone else in league. But keep an eye on Aquinas. I mean, Aquinas, they might not win league, but when they get to the playoffs and they go in their own division, they could make some noise in there.
A couple other scores: Beaumont 60, Hemet 54. And that is it for right now.
All right, so we're going to take a break because Pete Smolin is standing by. He's the new running backs coach at the University of Redlands, the former Citrus Valley head coach. And we're going to talk to him. He did not go to school today. We're going to find out why he did not go to school.
What do you mean?
He's hunkered down somewhere. We're going to talk about it.
Is his tonsils taken out?
No.
His appendix?
No.
He went to Disneyland.
That would be a good one.
That's what I do quite often.
We're going to find out. We're going to talk to the great Pete Smolin when we come back, the new U of R running backs coach. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM.
Now back to the Inland Sports Show. Here's Pep and Jeff.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. We're proudly brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Kin Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona off Temescal Canyon Road. Now we've got a real treat here because he's dialing up from a secret location that we're going to find out here live on the show, and we're excited to have him. It's the new running back coach at the University of Redlands, the great Pete Smolin. Coach, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Oh, thanks a lot. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, but Coach, you got a day off, it sounds like, right? So you're not at school today?
Oh, well, yeah, I was really ill this morning, but I'm feeling a little better now. Kind of took a health day.
Well, it's going around. I know we're passing around my house, feeling sick and not feeling well.
You know what I do is for my health day, I take my family to Disneyland. That's how I'm sick.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that I had to shovel snow wherever I was at today. So.
Yeah, snow day. But we got Pete Smolin on the line. Of course, we all know him. He was 9 years at Citrus Valley, and he's now at the University of Redlands. And Coach, Jeff and I here, we were talking about Citrus Valley, and we have your shock and awe shirt all the way back from 2014. So naturally, our first question is, you got to take the Marines to the U of R with you, right?
Well, I'll tell you, University of Redlands is a really special place, and I like to do whatever I can, to help out in that program, but definitely bring that mentality to the program. I'm really excited about the opportunity.
What do you think are maybe some changes from just playing, the high school football, the high school level, and making that jump to Division III college football? I know some of the guys, around here. I know there's some CBL guys that end up at the U of R. But do you see any change, anything similar or differences between varsity high school football and Division III college football in the SCIAC?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, the SCIAC League is a real good league, but University of Redlands is a top program, and I've admired that program, since I came to Redlands, and they do things right, and they have kids that really work hard, and they have some really good talent, and there's a lot of competition in D3, and just like anywhere, it gets pretty competitive and pretty physical, so it's good football. For sure.
It is really good football. Plus, it's a great atmosphere, too. Like, we cover a lot of high school football, and there's some places here, and then there's several schools in Redlands. I mean, they go nuts. They have huge crowds, and it's a great atmosphere. But the University of Redlands, there's something special and unique about it because it feels like a college football game. You got the rowdy student section. You got the cheerleaders, the mascots running around. Like, it feels like college football. Like, how would you describe a U of R game?
Well, it's exciting. I get a chance to go watch a couple games here and there, at least a few a year. There's always kids that I follow that play at different schools that U of R plays, and we even have a couple Citrus Valley kids in U of R's roster now, so I get to watch them. And it is a beautiful stadium, wonderful facility, and just like I said, a great atmosphere. And the kids are well coached, and there's a lot of talent on the field. So it's definitely exciting to be out there.
We're talking with Pete Smolin now at the University of Redlands here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Coach, I was going through some of the numbers for the University of Redlands this past season, and they love to run the football. And they had a quarterback who's actually a Rev guy, ironically, Levi Plant, who could run the football as well. I mean, he was a great quarterback, but he could really bust off some long runs as well. So when you as going into the program like this and coaching running backs, I mean, how do you see the ground game, being a part of the Bulldogs for this upcoming season? What do you think you bring to it?
Well, they have a tremendous offensive system. Jim Good does a really good job. They run a kind of a spread, kind of RPO offense, just like everybody else does. But I think they really kind of set the tone on the ground game. I think it's important to be physical right from the start and, be the hammer and not the nail. And Levi's, that kind of runner as well, where, we're delivering punishment, and every time you think of an offense that's powerful or aggressive, they're talking about the ball carriers just running hard and running at you and making you have to work to take them down. So that's kind of attitude that U of R has, and that's what I like, about the program.
Now, the University University of Redlands also traditionally has a 9-game schedule, and I noticed it's kind of funny. I read the press release that came out when you joined the U of R, and did you see it? They kind of snuck it in at the end that they have a 10-game schedule, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. They got Coach Smolin, and they've got a 10-game schedule. What did you think about that?
It's a big year for University of Redlands. They get me and an extra game, so that's good.
Was it a package deal?
Yeah, and I can't really say much because I don't really know what the NCAA rules are, but I'm working on a big-time running back to transfer into the program from a Division I school. So, so it's a kind of a surprise. It's pretty close to happening, but I don't know what I can say or what I can't say. But
let me ask you this, Coach.
I'll be a genius running back coach. I'll tell you that much.
He'll make you look good.
Yeah, I'll be a genius.
Well, whenever it becomes official, please let us know first. We'd love to get it on the air. But also,
it's someone local from the area that it'll definitely be a big surprise.
So when we hear the name, we'll all say, "Oh my gosh, it's that guy." We'll all know it.
Exactly.
We got Pete Smolin here from the University of Redlands on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Heading up the running backs now for the Bulldogs, and again, 9 years at Citrus Valley. So Coach, I believe you're an East Coast guy, right?
Right.
So
I'm from Philadelphia originally, yeah.
So now that you're in California, you're at Citrus Valley for those 9 years as the head coach of the Blackhawks, and now you're at the University of Redlands. There must be something about the IE, something about Redlands, something about Southern California. I know you like the snow, but something about SoCal that's keeping you here. What do you enjoy about being down here in the IE?
Well, definitely, Redlands is just it's an amazing place. I mean, it's just a great community, and I'm so glad I get to stay in the community. But you can't beat the weather in Southern California. I wear shorts every day just so I can tell my buddies back home that I'm wearing shorts every day.
So take a picture, put it on Twitter for all them to see.
Yeah, and it's not too hard to recruit kids to come down to this weather. I mean, it's just gorgeous down here.
Now, Coach, what is the biggest difference? I mean, you've been a head coach for so long, and is it easier now, the transition to be the running backs coach? And what are the plus and minuses that have happened in your life since taking this new job at Redlands?
Well, definitely, being a head football coach is a lot of work and a big responsibility. And a lot of the responsibilities are kind of non-football related, like kind of all the fun stuff that has to do with the game of football is stuff that is your responsibility as a high school head coach. And being a position coach and in a great program under Coach Maynard is definitely a breath of fresh air where I can just focus on the game and focus on my players and focus on recruiting. So, I mean, that's a big plus right there.
Yeah, Coach, now that you're a position coach doing the running backs at the University of Redlands, what was the first order of business? I know it's only January and football season feels like it's, miles away here, even though we'll get started pretty soon here. I know there's some spring ball stuff that you guys could potentially do, and then there's the camps over the summer. But first order of business right now as a coach at the U of R, like what are some of the things on your plate like right now?
Okay, well, the most important thing, hands down, is recruiting, and is to get find the best talent. We're looking for high academic kids that want to play football, and they can fit, their character into our program. So obviously, recruiting is a big task right now. The kids I call them kids, but the players just came back to school on Monday, so got to meet a few of them, and they were pounding weights, but pretty much recruiting is a big focus right now. And I have the high desert schools, and I'm recruiting some of the East Coast right now as well.
Oh, man. So you're going across the country here, trying to get the best guys to the University of Redlands.
Yeah, I was actually in Vermont for winter break visiting my brother, and I got to talk to a few kids out there, so it was exciting.
Yeah, we've had Coach Maynard and Coach Mariani and some of the guys from the University of Redlands here on the show, and you're right. I mean, they bring in some really great kids. I mean, I know it's Division III football, but there's some really good football players, and they're really good guys too. Like I call them like a D3 guy, but you know what I mean. Like they're quality people. They're getting it done in the classroom, and they're just real good, scrappy football players. Yeah,
it's kind of like an Ivy League kind of mentality where you get the top kids with, top character and work ethics and kids that want to play, kids that, aren't doing it, for a lot of money or, for a lot of accolades, but just want to go out there and play football. So that's exciting.
Well, Coach, we're glad you're at the University of Redlands, and I'm very anxious now to hear this running back that you're working on. Hopefully, it works out. If it does, please let us know because we'd like to talk about it here on the Inland Sports Show.
Well, thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it. And like I said, it's a big name guy, and it's going to be, like I said, make us a genius, make us all geniuses. So that's exciting.
All right, we're anxiously awaiting, so just keep us posted. That's Pete Smolin, now at the University of Redlands. Coach, we always love having you on, and you know what? We still proudly have our Shock and Awe shirt up here in the studio, so we love the Marines as well.
Thanks for having me on, and I really appreciate you guys and all you do, and I'm glad I caught up with all the basketball scores, so I'm good. Appreciate it.
We're trying. There's a lot more. We've got a 3-hour show, so we got a lot more scores. So just keep listening, Coach. We appreciate it.
Keep me coming. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. That's Pete Smolin, now at the University of Redlands, the running backs coach. So yeah, when you're a head football coach, whether it's high school, JC, Division III, Division I, doesn't matter. When you're the head coach, everything falls on your shoulders. Ultimately, everything's on your shoulders. But when you're a position coach, you pop in there, you coach your guys up, you make sure they're ready, and then you're like, okay, if there's drama with a parent, there's problems with fundraising. Nope. Go see the head coach over there. He's the guy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if I ever do decide to coach again, I definitely don't want to be a head coach. I want to show up to practice.
You should know better than anybody else, being a former head coach.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, because you always have to worry about getting the medicine kit. You got to get those emergency cards. You got to make sure that everybody has the same uniforms. You just name it. And then you have to deal with the parents. Oh, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So now, like you said, he gets to go to a really nice University of Redlands. That's
a sweet gig.
Oh, it's a beautiful campus, and you walk over there, and you get to see the co-eds walking around, and you just show up. You can wear a cool polo shirt. And then when practice is over, you just say, I'm going to go home to my family. See you, Coach.
Go shovel snow.
If he has a good running back.
He was hunkered down somewhere secret where there's snow. He's hunkered down somewhere.
But if he has a good running back, it makes him look like a superstar.
Should we even speculate who this might be? Because really, honestly, I haven't talked to him about this. So when he said there was
Stephen Carr
from USC, that would be like off the charts. No, I'd almost follow you down that path, but I'm not, only because Ronald Jones, the running back at USC, just declared for the NFL draft.
I saw that.
So I'm like, okay, well, now Stephen Carr, he's going to be the premier tailback at Tailback U. It's going to be Stephen Carr's show out of Summit High School now that Ronald Jones is going to the NFL. So if that wouldn't have happened, I would have thought for a moment and followed you down that trail.
I think you need to follow me down that trail anyways, because it just sounds cool. Stephen Carr averaging 9,000 yards a game.
For the University of Redlands. But no, if it happens.
Do we know any big-time Division I running backs that are playing right now?
We're going to go into a commercial break in just a second. Let's I hate to speculate, just throw some kids' names around, but maybe between the Brain Trust here and our writers and producers in the studio.
We have fact checkers, too.
And our fact checkers, maybe we can come up with a couple names. And Pete Smolin said, and when it goes down, if it's official, he's going to let us know. We'll be the first to break the news here on the Inland Sports Show, but we're hoping. The U of R they've had some great running backs, and they've got a great quarterback in Levi Platten who can run the football as well. I mean, he's one of those guys who can go through 250 through the air, another 100 plus on the ground. He's a great quarterback. So I'm curious to see how Pete Smolin is able to work with him, although Jim Good, who is a good OC.
Really good OC.
Pun intended, right?
Yeah.
Jim Good.
Really good.
How Pete Smolin's going to be able to help him and bring along the running backs in that Jim Good offense there at the University of Redlands. So let's think about this. And then again, it was funny because I know you're looking at the 10-game schedule. Yeah. So they had a big press release on Pete Smolin because that's a big news, right? He's the Citrus Valley head football coach, and now he's going to the University of Redlands.
Well, I have a whole thought process on why they added that game.
Why do you think?
Because they have all of these coaches. They got to pay somebody, so you got to
bring on another game, right?
I mean, good golly. Football coaches, though, like Coach Logan over at the Centennial High School, I bet he has like 50 assistant coaches. They said like 35. Remember the athletic director called in and said there was like 35 coaches.
Yeah, he's got a lot of guys. And he keeps them around. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a great staff, and he doesn't let them go anywhere. They like to stay there and coach for Matt Logan.
He holds them hostage because he's the evil Sith Lord, for God's sakes. They're all part of the 501st Order.
And he made his guys practice in the rain last night for the IE All-Star Classic. Matt Logan.
That's when you put on tennis shoes and go practice in the gym.
No way, man. They're in it to win it.
Whatever. Just practice in the gym. It's like baseball. When they use have you ever seen baseball teams practicing in the gym?
Yeah.
They use tennis balls?
Yeah.
It's great. Bouncing all off the walls, it's awesome.
I
Except
love
when you're coaching.
I mean, they might do like for football guys, they might do like a walkthrough in the gym. You know what I mean? Just do the walkthrough stuff.
The whole playing in the rain stuff just sounds weird to me. It still does.
You got to win it.
Yeah, but I don't want to get wet, muddy, and stinky. Because seriously, you mix the stink of sweat and the rain, it's not a good mixture. It's not good at all.
It's like a wrestling room and a wet dog.
There's nothing worse than a wrestling room. Have you ever walked into a wrestling room?
Lots of wrestling rooms.
Holy
That's where I live.
I mean, seriously, I wear a singlet just because I like to wear them around my house. But I'm telling you, there is nothing worse than walking into a wrestling room.
But they're the best kids.
The wrestlers?
Oh, yeah. The wrestlers that I've interviewed and done stories on have been like some of the best young men that I've ever met.
If you like guys with ringworm and MRSA, I don't want to go near them. They're just a walking fungus.
No.
I'm a germaphobe. I'll never shake a hand of a wrestler. I just bump fists with them and then wash that fist because I don't want ringworm on my fist. I'm serious.
I know you're serious.
Trust me. Yeah.
That's Jeff. I love wrestling, by the way.
I like wrestling. I just don't want to touch any of them. I don't want to go near them because they're fungi. A lot of fungi in those guys.
All right, we got a break. When we come back, the CIF Southern Section rankings are out for basketball. We're going to go over there in a little bit. And also some NFL news, including an NFL star who's now in the rap game.
I saw that.
He's got his new single out. We're not going to tell you who it is yet because this is a deep tease. But, yeah, he's got a rap out. We're going to play a little bit of his rap, and we're going to see what you guys think of it. I thought it was kind of good. I was kind of grooving here in the studio.
But you also thought that song, Lithuania, was fantastic.
Yeah. Welcome to Lithuania.
Just crap.
Land of beautiful ladies. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
You're naughty.
Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. This is the man, he's really wailing on that thing.
That's a great movie.
Revenge of the Nerds is the talent show.
So good.
Hope Greg's not implying that we're nerds over here.
No, I love beating up nerds. I did. I was one of those guys. I was a bully. Just beat up nerds.
Well, welcome back to the show. This is an all sit-down show.
It is.
I usually can't sit down. I get too anxious and nervous, and I'm pacing around like a caged tiger. Yeah, we're sitting down here, so
you gotta work. You gotta go do some TV gigs.
We're gonna do live high school basketball tonight as Cajon is taking on Citrus Valley. You can check it out live on IEMG. Go ahead.
So you're doing this game? Are you doing it by yourself?
I am.
Where's your buddy?
Where's
your partner?
I know lots of basketball.
But where's your partner?
You're here doing the show.
Oh, I gotta stay and do the show. Gosh darn it. What is wrong? Why would you leave me like that?
I will join you by phone.
That's just horrible. Because
thanks to technology, I'll still be with you.
Because if you leave, the show goes off the rails. I'm just going to go off on tangents. And
yeah, you guys might all want to listen to the final hour. This could be really good.
The FCC will be seriously. They're going to drive up with guns, and the FCC doesn't even carry guns, but they're going to be right here with guns pointed at.
They're going to take Jeff Gorham away, lock him up.
FCC jail. Do you know what they do? They play elevator.
They make you watch like the Teletubbies over and over or something.
I kind of like that. They just make you listen to crazy music and then all the religious gospel stuff that's really nice and wholesome. And I'm not wholesome. There's nothing wholesome about.
We're still gonna work on you. We're not giving up on you yet, Jeff.
Yeah, I know where I'm gonna end up.
All right, we've got, 6 or 7 minutes to talk about some high school basketball here. The rankings are out. Speaking of Cajon against Citrus Valley tonight. Cajon, the Cowboys, one of the teams on the watch list for the Open Division. We're also talking about Centennial, Roosevelt, and Rancho Christian. That's a real who's who in that Open Division for the CIF.
Rancho Christian will be in the Open Division because they're not going to lose another game. I think they've lost 3 on the year, but they're going to go undefeated in league. So put them into the Open Division. They shouldn't be anywhere but there.
What about Centennial, Roosevelt, Cajon? Do you think at the end of the day they'll be in their own divisions when it comes time for playoffs?
I think Cajon goes into their own division, even though they're dominant.
Because they're going to run through the CBL.
They will. But I still think they will be in the Division II AA. Centennial, that's the
Centennial or Roosevelt, one of them could. I think whoever wins the Big 8 League will at least certainly be in the mix for the Open Division, right?
Yeah, and I think you've got to win the Big 8 pretty convincingly to get into that Open Division. If a couple teams have 3 or 4 losses or 2 or 3 losses, that I think that you have to take them out of that and put them in their own division. But we just don't know. The question mark is tonight. Roosevelt Centennial.
Yeah, they're going head-to-head for the first time this season, so that'll be certainly a benchmark in the Big 8 League. The land of the Big 8 as Centennial takes on Roosevelt tonight. So those are the 4 Inland Empire schools in the Open Division watch list. So again, it just means the CIF's keeping an eye on these 4 teams. It doesn't mean they're going to be in the Open Division for sure at the end of the season for playoffs. It just means they're off to a great start. They've got some really good teams, and we're watching you, is basically what they're saying.
You are on our watch list.
So Division 1, because they do fall in their own divisions, in Division 1, Roosevelt is currently tied for 10th place, and Centennial checks in at number 16 in the latest CIF Southern Section poll. In Division 2 AA, that's where we find Cajon, and Cajon's number 15 in 2 AA.
That's a tough division, though. Obviously, if Cajon is 15th, who is 13th, 14th, all the way up to 1? Who the heck is better than those guys?
But see, here's the deal with Cajon. I think it's a little misleading because they didn't have Jeremiah Martin or Darren Jones, the football stars, for the better part of the beginning of the season. Now that football's over, Jeremiah Martin and Darren Jones are back with the basketball team. So you look at their record and you're like, oh, they lost to this team and that team. Maybe they're not that good. Well, they're a different team now because the football guys are back.
Yeah, and you got Randy Murray, who's been there for a long time. Poly native guy, coach, great guy, great coach. I think they'll do fine in that division.
In Division 2A, and I know you think Rancho Christian will go to the Open Division, and you're probably right. But in Division 2A, we have Rancho Christian as the number 1 ranked team right now, and there's Riverside Poly at number 5. Can you imagine a Riverside Poly Rancho Christian final? I know that's pie in the sky way down the road.
That would be really cool. I think, like I said, I think the best coach in the area, and I will have to say, is
Justin Norman. Congratulations, Justin Norman. Well, La Sierra.
Outside of Justin Norman, you got Yancey.
Oh, no, well, okay.
And you got Showalter, who's his assistant coach. I mean, that's a pretty good staff right there. You know, Justin is just on an island by himself, and Mark Guard over there. Those are good coaches. But I think Yancey has an ideal team, as we've talked about.
And we were just talking about Notre Dame and the run they made through the state playoffs last season, going to the Southern California Championship game, which is the state semifinals. Would they lose that one by 1? Was it Rolling Hills Prep beat them by 1 or something?
Rolling Hills Prep. But Notre Dame's added Mozga. He's their leading scorer. He's the transfer that came in this year. And he's really added a lot of depth to that Notre Dame team. So I think I could see Notre Dame actually coming through and winning the championship this year.
Yeah, they're number 1 right now in Division 3A. So Notre Dame currently the top-ranked team by the CIF Southern Section poll. Checking in at number 4, we have A.B. Miller out of the Citrus Belt League. We also have Murrieta Mesa in at number 6 and Paloma Valley at 13. Murrieta Mesa is interesting because of the Wright twins down there, who are pretty good players, and they'll have Murrieta Mesa, it looks like, in the hunt at least for the Southwestern League title. But the Southwestern League title, or race for the title, is always a meat grinder. There's always a lot of good teams. They take turns beating each other up. Nobody comes out, 12-0 or 14-0, whatever it is, or 10-0. Nobody comes out undefeated. Everyone's got a loss or two. Everyone takes some L's down there.
Yeah, and Marietta Valley's really taking kind of the second step back, and everybody else is kind of caught up to them. We're talking about Marietta Mesa. I mean, we were talking about them in football this year, and they came out of nowhere. The same thing with basketball. So they're doing the right things, obviously, in all their sports. But yeah, Marietta Mesa, the Rams are looking pretty good.
And then finally in Division 4 AA, we have the number 1 team in the country, at least in the CIF Southern Section. It's Hillcrest, and they were just in studio with us, the King of the Hill tournament champions, with their big man Victor Obioha.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it took me 2 times that time.
Yeah, I couldn't remember it.
But they had a huge win last night against La Sierra, which La Sierra, the 5-time River Valley League champion, but it looks like we're going to have a new champ in the River Valley League this season.
Yeah, 70-30, if that's any indication of who the second-place team is. It's going to be a quick drop-off right after that, but yeah, Hillcrest is playing well. They've played a great preseason schedule, lost a tough one to Rancho Verde, so coming back for a nice league win. First time in school history they beat La Sierra.
And we also, in 4AA, we have Heritage at number 9 and Rialto at number 16. So the headlines coming out of the CIF Southern Section rankings right now, we've got 4 teams on the Open Division watch list: Cajon, Centennial, Roosevelt, Rancho Christian. And we also have 3 teams who are ranked number 1 right now in their respective divisions: Rancho Christian, Notre Dame, and Hillcrest. All right, let's go to the phone line. We did put the hotline number out there for the folks of the Inland Empire earlier. Who's there? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show.
This is Tim. First time, long time. 6 foot, 200. Ding, ding.
You listen to another show.
Hey, Justin Norman, I had to make a quick call because I was a victim of a couple losses to him as a coach, and I think Jeff is absolutely right. He's underrated and should be named as one of the best coaches in the area. And it's sad to hear an era coming to an end.
Well, I don't know if he wants to say an era is coming to an end. He's still a young guy. They'll be fine. They just got their butts handed to him last night.
It's being doubled up. And Jeff, I know you know that feeling as a coach.
I felt it. I've been beat many times by that much. And guess what? It made me a tougher human being.
And you are one of the toughest I've ever met. And, it's just, it goes in cycles. And it's time for a new cycle. And I met Coach Wood up at the tournament when I went to watch Orange Vista play up there. And he said, after this year that they'll be kind of looking around themselves at a new cycle.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Yeah, Norman will be fine. I don't think they were ready to play last night, and they'll give him a better game next time. But Timmy Hatch, what are you doing? Are you on your way to basketball practice yourself?
No, I am on my way to scout a little bit, recruit, looking at Norco High School's girls a little bit here, and a couple players they have that they play Corona High tonight. But last year, women's basketball on its way to a game against Cal State Marietta. time tomorrow.
Big time.
Yes, sir, absolutely. But I just wanted to call in and weigh in my opinion. I've known Justin Norman since he was 9 years old, a fiery, red-headed firebrand on the court at Norco Parks and Rec. And I had to call him down and say, Justin, you'll never be any success if you're angry all the time. And I hope he took my advice one day.
Is he still talking on the air right
He
now?
is.
Is this guy still talking?
It's your boy.
Yeah.
No, that's Tim Hatch.
Coach Hatch, you're the best.
Okay.
Continued success on the recruiting trail for La Sierra University. We love hearing from you. And I believe you're going to pop in studio tomorrow. Is that from what I hear?
Absolutely.
Booyah. Mark it down.
Yeah, Tim Hatch will be in here with me tomorrow because Pep Fernando's, as my son calls him, is off doing some TV work. So we'll see you tomorrow, Tim Hatch.
Big shoes to fill. I'll see you tomorrow.
The great Tim Hatch, a local basketball coach now at La Sierra University. We got to take a break. When we come back, an NFL star is in the rap game. We're going to play it for you. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Pep and Jeff.
And welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Going strong on a Wednesday here. We're going to take a quick break from our local chatter and talk a little NFL here. In about 12 minutes or so, we'll have Arlington head soccer coach Kevin Watson on the show to break down their big matchup coming up against Riverside Poly. A couple of quick NFL notes before we get to the wrap. I know Jeff's a big rap guy. Look at him. Look at him. He loves rap.
Warren G, Cool Mo D. I've got him. I'm an old school rap guy. I don't understand this new stuff. I don't like gangster rap. I like happiness, love, peace.
Well, we're going to get to the rap in just a second, and it's a good one. I actually think it's kind of good, but I'll let you guys be the judge, the court of public opinion here.
All right.
But the other big news, and it's kind of big news because it hits a little closer to home, is so the Packers went out and they fired their defensive coordinator, but they brought in a new guy, Mike Pettin, who's the former head coach of the Cleveland Browns, which, if that tells you anything.
Hey, they've won a lot of games in the last ever.
Lots of games.
Yes,
lots of games. But he's the former Browns head coach. He's now the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. But I bring it up because our own Kenny Clark out of Carter High School.
That's right.
San Bernardino native. He had a really great season for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm just hoping that even though Dom Capers is no longer the DC for the Green Bay Packers, now they've got Mike Pettin in there. I just hope they keep using Kenny Clark the way they were. I mean, he's really enjoying a breakout season, and I just want to see him keep getting better. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, he's an IE guy, burst onto the scene 2 years in now, and I just want to see him continue to progress and be that anchor on the defensive line for the Green Bay Packers. And I just hope Mike Pettin continues to do that with our own Kenny Clark.
Well, if he doesn't, trade him to the Rams. We can go watch him play all the time. Plus, we can get him on all the time.
That's right.
Yeah, heck
he's
with
a friend of the show.
Yeah, you better be nice to our guy.
He's on our wall of fame over there.
Yeah, he had the biggest head and neck I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, he's the only guy I feared coming in here.
You know what? I hate to break the news to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to break it to you right now live on the air.
Okay.
Kenny Clark is a wrestler.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah, that's right.
He's a wrestler.
He was like all-world wrestler.
So next time when he's in studio, I'll be like, you know what Jeff told me? You wouldn't believe what Jeff told me about wrestlers. He can't stand wrestlers.
I'm not going to shake his hand. I'll about fist bump him. I'm not going to lick him on the head or anything like that. But I'm telling you, he's a big, tough guy.
Yeah, he
was a wrestler?
One of the biggest, strongest, just kind of he's a wide body. You know what I mean? His shoulders are huge. Just a wide, strong guy.
He's really scared me. I'm going to be honest with you. There's very few people that have scared me coming into this place, and he was it.
Picture you're an NFL quarterback, and there's Kenny Clark breathing down your neck. You hear his footsteps. He's coming after you.
Now, he's just like bones breaking. I mean, just getting hit by a guy like that. He's solid.
He had like 2 sacks against the Vikings a couple weeks ago against Case Keenum. Like, he had a really good game. He had a great season, but he had a really good game against the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm scared. He's the one guy that I fear. I do fear you, Kenny Clark.
All right, we're running out of time in this segment talking NFL, but there's a member of the Dallas Cowboys. He's a little slot receiver, really fast, got great hands. His name is Cole Beasley, and I know you know who he is, Cole Beasley, and he's in the rap game.
I hate all those Dallas Cowboy receivers.
I know, but he's in the rap game, Jeff.
Let's hear it.
This is Cole Beasley releasing his first single. Greg, what's it called? 80 Stings?
80 Stings.
80 Stings, the world premiere on the Inland Sports Show.
He must know some Yellow Jackets.
Hey! Is this it?
Colton High School. This one's for you, Colton.
Early mornings, I ain't slept long. Big headed, so I'm headstrong. Had to be just to be headed to where I was going, like my head gone. They said I'm crazy, but I told them all that it's no B, but you're dead wrong.
Dab on them fools.
Patience of a wondrous slug to come from the mud.
Wait, Greg's our music guy down here. Greg Holla. Is this good or is this not good? Come on, get on the mic, Greg. Come on, you're our music guy, because I'm a country music guy. I have no idea. Listen to the words, Greg.
You got a good flow. I'd bump it.
For both my sons, but it's 4 accounts, accounting for another 2 that's yet to come. Yes, I have enough. They can have some competition. Yeah, I have.
That was a good line. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Dad, you like that one?
I like it. Hey, it's better than Shaq.
Yes, it is better than Shaq.
Better than Kobe.
Better than Kobe. Kobe.
Yeah.
So cold like icy. IVs, and I'm just chilling like IVs. I don't have to try, come and try me. This is effortless, like when eyes blink.
Oh, fire, straight fire, man. Cole Beasley's on fire right now. It's not that bad, right? All right, that's Cole Beasley. 80 stings, man. That's for Colt and all the Yellow Jackets out there listening on the show right now. I know you are.
Yeah. That was just stupid.
You liked it.
That was just plain
Jeff's
stupid.
playing the cool guy over here, but he was rocking out the whole time.
Hipster over here.
Yeah, hipster. You can take your Coldplay and get out of here, Jeff.
Yeah, I like I like Coldplay.
I know you probably do.
That was horrible, guys. That's not rap. That's just stupid. He's a slot receiver for the Cowboys.
He's good.
Whatever. They're all overrated. All those receivers are terrible.
They're not in the playoffs, but he's pretty good. And he's a great rapper as well now.
He's not great. That was horrible.
That's 80 stings.
80 stings is really 80 stupid bits.
80 stupid.
80. It's just a lot of stupidness.
Trying to think, not a lot of athletes venture into music, but once in a while you get somebody.
Wait, Kobe was a rapper? He did?
Was he?
rapped?
I think Damian Lillard doesn't young Dame out there rap? Yeah,
in Portland.
Yeah, in Portland.
What the heck are you gonna rap about in
up
Portland?
there in the Rose
it rains
City,
up
man.
there, and there's trees in Portland.
It's a pain dealing with the rain.
Oh,
see what I mean? Like,
I don't understand rap. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. It's always so angry. Everybody's always spewing hate.
Wait, so Shaq?
Shade. There's shade. They're
throwing shade. More shade than a big
Shaq
oak tree.
is gonna throw some shade
at LeVar Ball.
Me and Melo against him and Shaq.
The remix.
Is he talking about Larry Ball?
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
You guys, I think I'm going to walk out of the studio. This is absolutely terrible. This whole thing right now is like
Shaq breaking it down, though. Kazam. No, Cole Beasley's better.
No, he's not. How dare you besmirch the name of Shaquille O'Neal?
No, he's better. He's right, Greg. Greg's our music guy. Look,
Greg doesn't know anything.
Greg knows everything about music. You know nothing about music.
Greg plays for Ratchets on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. He doesn't know what he's even talking about.
No, he's the only one in this room that knows what he's talking about. Greg knows music.
I know Greg. Greg likes old school good music. This is just.
Did you hear what he said? He would bump Cole Beasley.
You would bump, but
so when we're driving around the mean streets of Colton, you'd bump Cole Beasley.
I really have a hard time.
Just for those 80 stings, yes.
Yeah, 80 stings, man. For all the Yellow Jackets out there.
I just like that you're using the all this young person vernacular, Pep.
It's
like
who I am.
Like you're hip.
It's who I am. It's who I am,
He's
Jeff.
not hip, he's Pep.
He is Pep.
That's Pep. That's Pep. All right, we got a break. You want to talk some foosball? Some kickball?
No, I don't want to talk about that either. You guys are killing me.
We'll have to ask Coach Watson if he raps.
I want to ask him about those twins that he has to play against.
Oh, yeah, the Germans. The Mendel twins, as Dennis Pope broke it down for us a week or two ago now here on the Inland Sports Show.
You guys are killing me. That was a horrible segment.
Was wonderful. It's a great lead-in to Poly versus Arlington, a battle for Middle Earth. It's coming tomorrow, and Arlington head coach Kevin Watson from the boys soccer team is joining us next. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
On behalf of myself, Jefe, the rest of the boys, we chipped in and got you this gift. It's a sweater! It's a sweater!
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
You talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE. We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
Are you excited?
Yeah, because hold on. I know this. I used to live downtown, 120 9th Street. You know I'm right, huh? But this is one of seriously the best rap songs of all time.
Wait, this is a true question. Was this the song that was used actually in the movie?
No.
Like Wild Wild West.
Downtown.
The Wicked Wicked Wow Wow. Remember? It's the same song though, right? That's what I'm saying. It's the same song.
That was the worst movie of all time. You ever seen that movie? It's terrible.
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now. I don't watch it. I watched the Bigfoot one.
That's my rap game, right? See, that's a rap song.
Is it?
Yeah, you don't want to mess with it.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
Yeah, those of you that know, Cool Mo D is the shiznick.
I'm going to take your guys' word for it.
Hey, I'm telling you, you don't know rap.
No.
The rap game is not your
What,
style.
you think when I was milking cows, I was listening to rap? No, man.
Yeah?
I could have. You went the Wild Wild West. It's 3:30 in the morning milking cows listening to Joe Diffie and George Strait. That's the Wild Wild West.
I don't think I know you anymore. I don't know what has become of you, Pep Fernandez. You're not the man I thought you were.
I know you guys look at me and I'm a cultured, intelligent guy. You know, been around the world. I'm a Renaissance man. Nah, man, I was just bucking hay, listening to country music, milking cows. Like, let's keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Your phone's blowing up.
Yeah, I got Justin Norman's listening.
I had his back. I had Justin Norman's back.
Justin Norman, I was throwing shade on him.
Yeah, you were.
He's going to call in tomorrow.
Oh, he is?
He's going to call in.
Who does he play tomorrow?
I don't know.
Because they're Tuesday, Thursday, right?
Yeah, they got to be playing tomorrow. He's still going to call in. Heck, he got beat by 40. Why even coach anymore? Just walk away from your team. Come over here and join the Inland Sports team. That's what I did.
My head coach is back.
Yeah. But yeah, you did have his back. But yeah, Norman, I love you, and I just laugh just because you never lose. That's the problem. Is you win at everything. You win at life. So good job, Justin Norman.
So Justin Norman's going to call in tomorrow and defend his good name, right?
No.
Lost Sierra basketball coach.
I guess, yeah, he will. Hey, Cullen, our guy was just in here, our intern.
Yeah, so here's the deal with Cullen. I'll let you get into it, but he was covering a high school soccer match for us, a big one. In fact, Greg, you're going to appreciate this one. It was Grand Terrace taking on Colton in girls soccer. And I know I've used this term too much today, but it was a real battle for Middle Earth. It's not over yet, but Grand Terrace leading their rival by a score of 1-0. So Cullen was out there shooting video.
But Cullen used to come in all the time. He'd want to sit and hang out with us. Now he runs in. He dresses nice. He's got a really perfectly coiffed haircut. Smells good, dresses nice, and he just runs in and out. What do you think's going on?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you have a conspiracy theory. I got theories. You got theories.
I think he's got a girlfriend.
You think there's a girl in the mix? And he's probably listening right now on his way back to Cal Baptist University.
Yeah, I think there's a girl in the mix. I think there's a beautiful Cal Baptist girl that has taken fancy to our own Cullen. And you know what though? I think she needs to dump him because she is taking him away from us.
Yeah, because Cullen he used to be here like every day.
I don't like this.
Maybe it was the winter break.
I don't like this.
Class.
I don't like this side of Cullen. If maybe the girl is turning him into a bad kid. Seriously,
that's impossible.
No, he might be going to the wrong side of the tracks, and I don't want him. I don't want to lose Cullen. So Cullen, if you're listening, dump your girlfriend.
We're just concerned. Listen. Has it got to a point of an intervention? No, we're not there yet.
No, this is intervention.
It is time?
Yes, because he used to always want to sit by me and talk to me. Now he just leaves out here smelling really good. He looks really good. Maybe they were Christmas clothes, though. Maybe his parents gave him some nice
He might have got new clothes at Christmas and, slicked his hair back.
He might have got a job.
Maybe got a job.
Whoa.
Well, he does work for CBU. He does, like, stats and stuff like that in the sports information
but there's
department.
just something different about him. He's got an air of confidence.
Okay.
He
got his license and
he got his license. He got some new Christmas clothes. Like, he's feeling good.
I think he's got a girlfriend, guys, and I think something's going on here.
Well, he does a great job covering sports for the Inland Sports Show, and he was at a high school soccer match. Did a good job. But again, we're just a little concerned because he popped into the studio, dropped off the video equipment, and just ran out. And Jeff has a theory that he has got a hunch.
He just sent some shade to me. He says, I was there for like 45 minutes before the show. You weren't even there.
Oh.
Whatever.
He's calling you out because
he's calling himself out because he knows that I think he's got a girlfriend.
Well, so actually, he didn't deny it. It's like Lonzo Ball not having Luke Walton's back. He didn't necessarily agree with his dad, but he didn't deny it. So Cullen didn't deny it.
If he is, I want to see her.
Do you have the 3 dots? Like, is he writing back? You know how the little 3 dots pop up on the text? And you're
because
like, okay.
He's driving. You think about it. The guy's not a lawbreaker. I'm sure he pulled over just to text.
Yeah, he's not he's a rule follower.
I don't know, though. He might be going to the dark side. Something's going on here. I think he's got a lady.
Could be a lady in the mix. What's wrong with that?
A lot.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's our intern. He's not supposed to be doing anything.
He's either in class or he's here with us, and that's it.
No, he's my beck and call boy. He's supposed to do anything I tell him to do. And I love him. I do. I get to work a basketball game with him this week.
The Saturday night game.
Saturday night, he's going big-time D1. He's going to be play-by-play. I'm going to just talk about his hair. I might find out if he has a girlfriend on the air.
On the air. Put him on the spot.
You're darn right. Go Highlanders. Listen to it Saturday night when we play 6 p.m. Long Beach State 49ers versus your UC Riverside Highlanders. Cullen Holt, Jeff Gorham will have the call. We're going to find out all about Cullen's girlfriend.
And hopefully, if everything works out like it should, UC Riverside should be coming off a victory going into the Long Beach State game because they've got Davis tomorrow night. And listen, don't get me wrong, Davis is really good. They made the NCAA tournament a year ago. They might have the best player in the conference. But again, Jeff and I have seen enough of the Highlanders to believe they just got to put together a complete game. Like, you take the second half of UC Santa Barbara, sandwich that together with another second half of a great game.
You pick any second half of any game this year, and they're going to win. If you put 2 of those together, they'll win everything. I think they're going to go undefeated the rest of the conference. Justin Bell is going to be Coach of the Year, and they're going to hoist him over the shoulders, and they're going to carry him off the floor.
Celebrate him.
I'm going to celebrate him. If he wins tomorrow, I'm going to carry him. I'll carry him to the locker room.
Well, they have a mild 4-game losing streak right now, going back to the road trip that you went on with them to Utah Valley and then Seattle.
Yes.
And then, of course, they lost their first two in Big West Conference play, on the road at Cal State Fullerton and then on the road at UC Santa Barbara. And easily, and I know, remember we went through the schedule for UC Riverside, and we went through all the games and said, okay, they're 5-11, but they could easily be, I don't know what we came out with, but it was like 10-5 or whatever record. We went through each of the individual games, and there was only 3 games. It was the Montana game. It was it Seattle or Utah Valley? I think it was Seattle, Montana, and Michigan. Those were the only 3 that we felt were pretty much out of reach.
Yeah, there was Seattle University was the real deal. And I think the biggest trend now in college basketball in the mid-majors is the graduate transfers. And the graduate transfers really do make impacts on these smaller programs. We saw that at Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara was last in the conference last year. And they bring in these new guys, and it changes the entire scope of the team.
Yeah, that guy Leland King for UC Santa Barbara, he had 17 in the first half alone.
He was 4 for 4 from the three-point line.
They just dug a big hole. They threw UCR in it, and they were just throwing dirt on their head like straight out of Step Brothers. They had 17 in the first half. It was, 48-26? I don't have in fact, the box scores over there, but they had such a huge lead at halftime. Again, it's like a broken record. You get to the second half, and time runs out as you're just chipping away, shaving off that lead of UC Santa Barbara, and it's just not enough. Time runs out, and as close as you get it, and it's enough to make it interesting. It's enough for the fans to get real quiet inside Thunderdome. It's just not enough. Time runs out on the comeback. A rally for the Highlanders,
and they're going to play 2 tough programs. UC Santa Barbara had the best record in the conference, and UC Davis is right behind them at 10-5. And they're 1-0 in the conference.
That's a tough stretch. And for Justin Bell being the new head coach, the interim head coach, they're like, hey, you're taking over the program. We're going to throw you right into the fire. It starts immediately with Big West Conference play. And, oh, by the way, there's no cupcakes at the top of the schedule. You're going Fullerton, Santa Barbara, and Davis right out of the gate.
And those are the top 3 right now in the conference as well. Fullerton's undefeated. Davis is 1-0, and Santa Barbara is 1-1, and those really are the top 3. They haven't faced Irvine. Long Beach State will be a good one for them at home on Saturday at 6 p.m.
They should pick them off, right?
They should.
That's a game that they should pick off.
That is one that they should win at home. Long Beach State comes in at 7-11 on the year, and they have a whole bunch of new players. In fact, basically an entire new team. And I see Riverside, being that they've played together for a few years, will be ready for that game.
So as a former coach, Jeff, if you've got a team that's on a 4-game losing streak, a coach in Justin Bell who's still getting his feet wet as the head coach. You're coming back home. I guess that's the good news. You're back at SRC Arena where you feel maybe a little more comfortable. But what would you say as a head coach behind the scenes, in the locker room, in the huddle, to be like, guys, we're not that far away. Like, go look back like what we did. We went through the schedule. They're close in all these games. Like, guys, we're right there. It's not like we're getting blown out and we're, completely awful and we don't have a chance. They're in all these games. They're right there. They're on the cusp of breaking through and getting some victories here. So as the head coach, what would be the battle cry? What would be the message here to get the Highlanders going in the right direction?
It's just 40 minutes of hell, basically. That's the old adage.
Nolan Richardson, man, yeah. Arkansas.
You got to play. You can't play 20 minutes of a ball game, and you can't come out flat. And they've dug themselves holes every game almost. They've dug themselves a hole, and they have to play catch up. One thing I will say, Coach Bell has changed the defensive scheme. They're playing a lot of man-to-man early, and I know why he's doing it. It gets them to play hard at least. If you come out in the zone, sometimes you have a tendency to be complacent. You don't block out, and you're really not talking as a team. But playing man-to-man, you got to really everything. Man-to-man is not a it's a team defense. You got to talk. You got to talk a help side defense. If you're 2 passes away, you got to make sure you're off to talk. If you're 1 pass away, your hands are in the lane. And Riverside just has had too many defensive breakdowns in the first half playing man-to-man. So I'm sure Coach is just going over the shell drill nonstop in practice until they get this right.
And it could be a big night for Alex Larson and maybe some of the other guys on the front line like Edie Diallo and Minnow Dykstra because, again, Manecki, what is he checking, like 6'6"?
He's 6'6", but he's got big, broad shoulders. He's athletic. He's very strong. He's very physical. He comes in averaging 19 points and 10 boards. He's the only guy averaging a double-double in conference. And he can really cause problems. But if you go right at him early, maybe you get him in foul trouble. You get to that UC Davis bench. When you give up 19 points, you have a shot to win the game.
So a lot of these mid-majors, they don't have a dominant big man. You know what I mean? Like they run some smaller lineups. We've seen UC Riverside run out 3-guard lineups. 2 forwards, 3 guards. So when you have a dominant big man, it kind of changes the game. You're forcing the other team to play into your game a little bit, right? But fortunately for UCR, they got Alex Larson.
Well, yeah, and you look at the Big West as a conference, it's a very athletic conference. It's guard-oriented. I think Coach Cutts, when he was here, and Justin Bell, the recruiting coordinator, they brought in a team that was really bona fide, ready to play this to combat that speed and athleticism. You have 3 big guys that can play with their back to the basket. And that really causes problems for the Long Beaches, the UC Irvines. And we've seen, to a point, the Santa Barbara and Fullerton. It's hard to guard when you have a good big guy in the post, and you have 3 of them. Actually, you have a couple that can step out, stretch the floor. You have Minnow Dykstra, who didn't play last game, can step out and hit the 3-pointer. So it causes problems for these athletic, quick teams.
Yeah, something you just touched on. So Minnow Dykstra, who's a big guy that can shoot from long range. We haven't seen a lot of him. Interim head coach Justin Bell kind of tinkering with the lineup and experimenting with some different things. Although earlier in the season, we did see UCR go big. They went Twin Towers. They went with Alex Larson and Minnow Dykstra in the starting lineup at the same time. But now they're going to a smaller lineup, and DJ Sylvester, who's more of a natural scorer, is getting a lot more minutes. And we saw Eric Rawwire as well, getting a lot of minutes in that UC Santa Barbara game. So maybe they're looking for more of an offensive punch, but they're going to have to play a little bit smaller as opposed to having Minnow Dykstra on the floor a lot.
Yeah, it makes you quicker. Definitely against, like I said, a more athletic teams in the Big West. I think early in the season you had to go big. You play Michigan. Michigan has, they had 3, 6, 10 guys out there. You got to go big. And I think playing the preseason, you play so many different kinds of teams. You play quick teams, you play half-court teams, you play disciplined teams, and you really kind of got to work your rotation. And I think Coach Bell is confident with the guys he's picked. Like you said, Rawwire's come in. We haven't seen much of him all season, and he's come in and shot. I think he shot 7 or 8 attempts last game, which is more than he has all season.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys when Coach Bell was looking for a spark off the bench because, again, UC Santa Barbara, like a lot of the other games, slow start for the Highlanders. They came out of the gate, could not get baskets to fall. They fell behind early, and there went Coach Bell looking down the bench, trying to find some guy to step in and provide something for UCR, and it was Eric Rawwire. He was that guy that Coach Bell was turning to when they just needed something.
And they also went to Johnny Kennedy. Johnny Kennedy has really come on stronger. Usually freshmen, when they come out and play true freshman Division I, they usually kind of taper off as the season goes on. But we're seeing a young guy locally out of Rancho Verde. Johnny Kennedy's gotten better and better as the season's progressed. That's pretty unheard of for freshmen. And he's kind of earned those spot minutes and has been a big spark. So when you bring in Rawwire, you bring in a DJ Sylvester who started and has been the leading scorer the last 2 games of conference. You're changing things for the better. You just got to put together defensively. You got to stop guys.
Well, we're going to have head coach Justin Bell on the show in about, 35 minutes or so. So we're going to have him talk about that UC Davis matchup coming up tomorrow night as they're back in Big West Conference play and trying to defend SRC Arena because, again, when you look at conference play, there's some games that you need to win to simply just stay in the middle of the pack. And you look at Davis, that would be a signature victory if UCR can beat the Aggies tomorrow night. But even looking ahead to Saturday with back-to-back home games this week, Long Beach State was probably one you circle on the calendar and say that's the one we have to get, and the Davis one would be nice too. But the Long Beach State we've got to get. But if we can knock off Davis, that could be a real turning point for the Highlanders this season.
Yeah, and you gotta protect home turf. If you go in and you win 2 this week, you're right back in the mix. You're 2-2, starting basically over in league, and hopefully those other teams will knock each other out. You hope Fullerton takes a stumble. We like our guy John Smith over there, but if you're Riverside, you hope that those top-level teams were going to knock each other off. And if you go 2-0 this week at home, protect home court, then you're right back in the mix.
And rarely you see a team go unscathed through conference play.
No.
It's too hard, especially in conference play when you go on the road to some of these places where it can be difficult, especially when the students are back. I know when school's out and they're on winter break and class is not in session, like when we were at UC Santa Barbara this past Saturday, they still had a decent crowd. But it wasn't this rowdy, raucous, standing room only kind of crowd. You'll go to some of these other places, and it might be like that once the kids are back on campus. And it's tough to go on the road, especially in conference play.
Yeah, and you're playing in arenas. You're playing, you go to UC Irvine. That's an arena, and that's a whole lot different than playing at the SRC. The SRC is basically a gym, and that the backgrounds, everything really affects you. You go to Long Beach State, you're playing in the Pyramid. These are some good places to play. But you've got to make sure that you win at home. That's the key in the Big West Conference, because last year you had a team like UC Irvine who walked through the conference, but then they ran into Davis in the tournament, and Davis took care of them. And they were just like that. They're in the tournament.
So it's going to be a huge game coming up for UC Riverside Thursday night. Jeff and I will have the call live at GoHighlanders.com, and I am assuming that's a Big West TV game as well.
It is an ESPN3 game tomorrow night.
Fancy.
So, yeah, if you decide to watch a little TV, you can see Pep and I on the sidelines and just watch us because, really.
Because Jeff's cool. Wonderful.
No.
3 thumbs up on Jeff.
3 thumbs up. So, yeah. Hey, we were cut out of the last game at UC Santa Barbara.
We were?
Yeah, the score was right in our head. Yeah. So it was like you could, if you were watching, you go, "Hey, look, there's no."
I thought I would be short enough. Maybe I could slip under the lower third. The score.
We were right in the score thing, and my sons were watching. They're like, "Where's Dad?" Oh, he's right.
He's behind the score.
He's behind the score on the digital score.
That's sad.
Yes,
that's the saddest thing I've heard today. So yeah, UCR and Davis hooking up tomorrow night. Jeff and I will have the call. It's actually a huge week for college basketball in the city of Riverside. So UCR with those 2 critical Big West Conference games coming up. And then on Saturday, Cal Baptist University trying to bounce back after that road loss to Dixie State. Now they're back home against their rival. All you got to do is follow CBU on Instagram and Twitter, and you'll realize how big it is when Cal Baptist plays Azusa Pacific University. It's their biggest rival, and first place will be on the line. Rick Roy, who obviously we love, one of the great coaches, and a friend of Justin Bell's at UC Riverside as well. He's going to have the guys ready. But they have to bounce back after that tough road loss at Dixie State University the other night. And, again, Dixie, APU, CBU, the 3 teams at the top of the Pac-West Conference. And those are the 3 teams that will be challenging for the championship. So this is a game on their home floor at the new event center on campus at Cal Baptist University. They got to get this one.
Well, this rivalry goes back to when Cal Baptist and Azusa Pacific were both in the GSAC and the NAIA, and they had great epic battles. The head coach for Azusa Pacific is Justin Leslie, a great player out of Paris High School, and has really become one of the poster childs of Division II basketball as being a head coach. He can recruit, and he always runs good stuff, and that's the great rival between two good coaches and two great programs.
All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We'll have some local soccer and also Justin Bell, the interim head coach of the UC Riverside Highlanders. Big game coming up against Davis for UCR and CBU. Huge one against Azusa Pacific coming up on Saturday night from the Event Center. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Visit discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
From the Cold Star Ice Studios, it's Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM, KUBE, Riverside.
You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox 1350. I am alone in the studio. Everybody left me. Pep Fernandez is off doing his big work, but we are brought to you by Spoiled, quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Check them out off Alessandro Boulevard and Ken's Sporting Goods for all of your sporting goods needs. More than 40 years in the Inland Empire, taking care of all of your sports gear needs, plus Letterman's jackets. Check out kensportinggoods.com and Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Coach Ray Bass and his team will bring experience, passion, and commitment to grooming great athletes. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. And Catalano Motors in Corona. If you would like to buy a new car, a new Ferrari, buy, trade, finance, new to you, car or truck, you have high expectations when buying a car, let Catalano Motors meet and exceed them. Committed to excellence, it's Catalano Motors, located off Temesco Canyon Road in Corona. I believe we are joined by Pep Fernandez, who is en route to a basketball game. Are you on the phone, Pep Fernandez?
Jeff, I will never leave you. What are you talking about?
You're like my wingman from Top Gun.
You're Goose.
Hey, Goose.
I'm Goose.
You are Goose.
Goose die?
Goose died, yeah.
Yeah, Goose did die. I am quite a bit, though, like Tom Cruise. Very, very handsome. I am not a Scientologist, though.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, when I look at you, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely Tom Cruise over there.
Yeah, that's what I always say. The hair, yeah, I'm telling you, it's perfect. So, Pep, where are you headed now?
Well, Jeff, I'm happy to report there's blue skies over the Inland Empire. That the Great Storm of 2018, I think, has moved on from the 951 and the 909. And I'm heading out to some basketball, but I do want to make an update here because we were scheduled to have Arlington soccer coach Kevin Watson on the show, and I'm still holding out some hope that we can get him here on the Inland Sports Show because I know you're a big soccer guy, but because of the big storm that we had, they had to rearrange some of the scheduling for their games and practices. So we're still efforting Coach Watson because of the storm. He's kind of still up in the air. So if I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Well, nice. Now, are you covering this game for IEMG tonight? Can we watch this game?
Yes, yeah. If you want to move on to basketball, let's do it. Let's talk to Cajon against Citrus Valley. It's a big CBL game. You can watch it live on IEMG and their YouTube channel. When you look at the Citrus Belt League, Jeff, Cajon, it's top-heavy. Cajon is the favorite here. I did see Redlands East Valley for a little bit in the San Bernardino Kiwanis tournament. They got a pretty special big man in Mikael Williams. They got a couple pretty good guards as well. So I think Rev, if there's a team in the Citrus Belt that could challenge Cajon, it might be this Rev team. But Cajon, just like football, I think Cajon's just kind of a notch above everybody else this season. So I'm excited to see them for the first time this season at full strength because we talked about the fact that Jeremiah Martin and Darren Jones are back on the roster for head coach Randy Murray.
Yeah, Jeremiah Martin, we've talked about it over and over a few years now. I think he's just as good a football player or basketball player as he is a football player.
No, he's a stud. I mean, we've talked about this before, the fact that, what is he, like 6'6"? Would you say he's 6'6", 6'5", something like that ballpark? 6'5",
6'6", probably goes 230 maybe, 240.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the basketball court, you're going to, he's probably the same size of, like, Shima Moneki guy, right, for Davis?
Yes.
We're going to see
Yeah.
So I mean, guys that size, 6'6", I mean, you're going to run into other guys that size on the basketball court more times than not. But on the football field, you've got a defensive end who's physical and athletic. Like, he is a walking, talking mismatch. Like, he is a nightmare on the football field. He led the state of California in sacks, and now he's going to play basketball. And don't get me wrong, he's dominant on the basketball floor, but on the football field, I feel like he's maybe just a little bit better in terms of the competition that he's going to see.
And I know he's being recruited by everybody. Is there any inside knowledge or insider's edge that we might know where he might play next year?
No, not yet. You know, because the signing day is coming up the first Wednesday in February. Because we had the early signing period, and we did have some guys from across the Inland Empire, some high school football players, sign in that early signing period. But Jeremiah Martin was not one of them. And when we talked to him before, he didn't exactly seem like he was in a rush to make a decision. I feel like he wants to enjoy basketball season. I know he's got this big looming question still over his head about whether he's going to sign a scholarship, but he's still thinking about basketball and trying to get Cajon to a CIF Southern Division title.
And he kind of hinted when he was in studio with us on the show that he was possibly thinking about playing both in college. Do you think that's still maybe an outside shot?
You know what? Like, I like that idea. I like the guys who play multiple sports, and there's enough evidence out there if you look for it to show that some of the top athletes, whether it's football or baseball, you pick the sport, you go back and look at their history, and these guys played a variety of different sports. They did not grow up playing just one. So I like the idea that he could do it. The problem is now is college sports is such a big business. They don't like their guys to play a variety of different sports. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a basketball player, the basketball coach wants access to you all year long. He doesn't want to give you up to go play another sport. Now, maybe this could happen at the junior college level, but let's say Jeremiah Martin goes to, let's say, Alabama or Michigan or USC. Like, I have a hard time really thinking that a coach at one of these big-time, high-profile football programs is going to say, sure, you know, in January, go ahead and leave football and go join the basketball team for a little bit. Is it possible? Yeah, I guess so, but I just don't really see it happening. Although I would like to see it. I think it would be awesome.
Now, would the same kind of mentality go with Darren Jones? I mean, Darren Jones is 6'8". He's only a junior. He's just going to get better and better, or bigger and taller. Do you see him possibly playing college basketball, or do you see the mismatch with football going the same way for him?
See, that's okay. So Darren Jones, which is funny because we have interviews and video with Darren Jones on the Inland Sports Channel, and they're still getting comments. Because remember, he kind of, during football season, he went viral. Like, people were finding his video and saying, like, who is this guy? He's 6'8", and just jumping over people on the football field. Like, he went viral during football season. And I made this point on IEMG that, okay, he went viral and he's making all these awesome plays on the football field. It was like, whoa, who is this guy? But we've been covering him all season long. Now, last year, if you remember, Jeff, he transferred from Upland. So he didn't play football, and he also didn't play basketball. So this year's the first time that we have seen Darren Jones in action, and he was absolutely dominant on the football field. Again, a walking, talking, real-life mismatch. He was a nightmare for opposing teams. He led the state of California in receiving, and why not? When you're 6'8", pushing 6'9", for quarterback Jaden Daniels, all you had to do is put the football in the air, and Darren Jones was going to go get it. He was going to go make a play on it. So on the football field, yeah, if you put one cornerback or defensive back, yeah, you're gonna have a long day. You better grab your lunch bell and get ready to punch in the clock because it's gonna be a long day at work covering Darren Jones. But on the basketball court, again, you're gonna run into other guys who are 6'8". Now he's very thin at this point. Like he can easily add some weight. But on the football field, yeah, the guy's an absolute nightmare. I mean, he's got definitely a future in front of him. I have not seen him play basketball yet, although everything I've heard is he's a stud on the hardwood as well. So tonight when I see him will be the first time, and between him and Jeremiah Martin and the knowledgeable Randy Murray guiding the Cowboys, I think it's going to be a really good Cajon team.
Well, you are covering the game tonight for IEMG. Pep Fernandez, thank you for joining us on the phone here.
Why are you kicking me off? I'm still co-hosting here from my car.
I don't know what else you want to talk about, Pep Fernandez.
listen, here's another cool wrinkle to the game tonight. So, Evan Oliver, do you recognize the name?
I do.
So it's the Cal State San Bernardino's head coach. His son plays for Citrus Valley, and I believe he's only a sophomore, but he can shoot the lights out. He might be a factor in this game tonight. I don't know if you're familiar with Coach Oliver. I assume you've crossed paths with him because you know every other basketball guy in IE.
I do, because he's a short, bald guy. So I know all bald basketball coaches. But, yes, I've seen his son play. His son will step in just past half court and will fire. He is truly, I want to say, the best shooter I've seen in the area, and I totally forgot that he was playing for those guys. So, wow, that is a good wrinkle. The kid can play. Coach Oliver is doing a good job coaching his son, obviously.
Yeah, Citrus Valley's not bad. This is one of the games that IMC selected for a reason, because if you were going to like a season pick in the CBL, like who's going to win, of course Cajon is the front runner, but then not bad. I believe Rev already owns a 10-point victory against Citrus Valley earlier in the season. The Wildcats have frogged the Blackhawks in terms of the CBL standings, but Citrus Valley's got some guys. They're certainly not bad, and also if you're looking farther down the line, we saw Tyson go all the way to San Bernardino Kiwanis tournament championship game. They lost to Barstow. RHS isn't bad. They're led by Brian Landon, who was a football star. In fact, Brian Landon's going to be in the Inland Empire All-Star Classic on Saturday night representing the Terriers. But Brian Landon's guy signed a scholarship to play baseball at Cal State Fullerton. So he's just a great athlete. And he's having a great year on the basketball court as well, all tournament.
I think we're losing.
Redlands versus Citrus Valley, all going to be great matchups.
Yeah, that Citrus Belt League is getting a lot better. They've had a couple of lean years with Cajon's really been the dominant power, just like they were in football. But this year, I do see Redlands' improvement as well, and Citrus Valley. So yeah, a very good league. Redlands East Valley's always coach well. So yeah, you've got your hands full. It's going to be a good year of basketball in that conference.
Yeah, Tim Hatch and I did that game, the San Bernardino Kiwanis Championship, and I didn't Bill Barrich. In fact, I think Bill Barrich's Rev team knocked Tim Hatch out of the playoffs, the last 6 of the playoffs, or one of the most recent years, I believe.
Well, everybody bumped Tim Hatch out of the playoffs. That's why he's that's why he's hanging out with us now. But no,
I know he's hot on the recruiting trail right now from La Sierra University. But yeah, that's why we hear a lot more from Tim Hatcher on the Inland Sports Show.
Yeah, Bill Barrich is a longtime coach. I remember when he coached at Ukaipa years ago and at Beaumont as well. So yeah, he's been around for a long time and has done a great job at Redlands East Valley as well.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have his guys ready to go. That Rev versus Cajon game is going to be a fun one to watch. Again, they've got a big man. In fact, they're one of the teams that can size up a little bit with Jeremiah Martin and Darren Jones because they don't Hilcom, who sit at 6.
Well, I believe
bang around with Jeremiah Martin.
All I know is, Pep, you were talking and you're bumping in and out, but you were a talking machine out there. Are you on the 10 freeway? Are you close to your destination?
I am going right through the middle of the City of Champions right now.
Well, I'm getting texts here. There's another big game tonight. Is the Roosevelt Centennial game? What do you think of that matchup coming in?
Yeah, you know what? There's a bunch of matchups coming out I'm super fired up about because in the Inland Valley we've got Rancho Verde versus Poly and Rancho North games coming up, and then in the Big 8 League, like you mentioned, Centennial and Roosevelt. And I know you know this, Jeff, that Roosevelt had Centennial's number last season, but Centennial's pretty young, and those young guys now have an experience of a season of varsity basketball under their belt. I have a hard time believing Roosevelt's going to beat Centennial every single time they take the floor this season. But don't get me wrong, Roosevelt's good too. They won a big tournament in Florida just a couple of weeks ago, wrapped around Christmas. So I know Roosevelt's good, but I think Centennial's got some experience that could be valuable when they take the floor tonight.
Well, they beat them 5 in a row last year. That's pretty unheard of for any Centennial team to lose 5 games, let alone to the same team in one season. So, yeah, and you lose Matt Mitchell and Jamaro Baker. Jamaro's at University of Kentucky. Matt Mitchell's the high-flying superstar of the San Diego State Aztecs. That's a different team, and I'm sure that Centennial has a nice billboard material saying, hey, they beat us 5 times last year. They got to go out and kind of redeem themselves this year.
Oh, yeah. If I played for head coach Josh Giles at Centennial, I would definitely have a chip on my shoulder going into the season, and I would have circled this first Roosevelt game a long time ago on my calendar because I believe the last time they met was in the state playoffs. It was for the Southern California Championship, so the winner was going to move on to the state final. And all of their games were very, very close. But I got to think the last time they met, that might have been the most painful because I know Centennial would have loved to got back to that CIF championship game.
Yeah, they definitely would have. And I'll tell you what, that is one conference that, as a coach, you're playing for third place, and it's tough to say because you always have Centennial, you have Roosevelt. Coach Singleton does a great job up there, and anybody else is really kind of just vying for that last playoff spot, which is a tough situation, especially in such a good league, just like it is in football.
Yeah, it's gotten a little top-heavy because when I first got to the Inland Empire, and you know this because you know Kawhi Leonard and those Tony Snell King basketball teams. When I first got down here, King was still really good. In fact, he won a CIF Southern Section Championship. King was good. Corona had some really good teams. They were challenging for the Big 8 League Championship. So, I mean, Santiago, I mean, they had some great teams. So, but right now, in the current state, in the land of the Big 8, yeah, you're right. It's going to come down to Centennial and Roosevelt. And one of those teams will make that first step towards the league title tonight. And I want to say that game's at Roosevelt because I saw Centennial going on social media and really trying to hype it up and get some of those Centennial students to make that short trip to Eastville and support the Huskies when they play at Roosevelt High School tonight.
Well, our guy Leon Culpepper just sent me a text. He says he's listening to the show and he's getting ready to head out to announce that big game. So we will hear probably from Coach Leon Culpepper tomorrow, and maybe he'll give us a rundown of the game tonight.
Yeah, how about that? Because, again, we're looking at the Big 8 League. We're looking at the Citrus Belt League. The other league that I'm really fired up about is the Inland Valley League because, I mean, think about it. Riverside Poly, what was that, a 1-point win against Valley View last night? And I think most people would agree that Riverside Poly's biggest challenge in league play would probably boil down to the Rancho Verde and also third in Chicago, JW North. So all of a sudden, the Inland Valley League looks like it's going to be wild and wacky down to the final week of the season between Poly and North and Rancho Verde and maybe even throw Valley View. Valley View might trip somebody up in there.
Well, Jim Long does a great job over at Valley View, and he always has great athletes. But they're just in such a tough league. Like you said, Rancho Verde, Brandon Baker has done a great job. They were CIF champions last year, Southern Section champions. JW North, who's, I think, we always talk about great coaches, Yancey Dodson, but that's a coaches league. You have the legend, the most famous of all coaches from Riverside, Mike Barty, who's been there, it seems like, for 30-plus years, and they have themselves a very good team this year.
Jeff, back me up on this. So you mentioned Coach Long at Valley View, who I have a ton of respect for. He's a great coach. Great basketball family, actually. Great athletic family, the Longs.
His wife's the girls' coach, I believe.
Yeah. They've had some really good teams. In fact, his daughter still might be at Valley View. She was a stud, too. In fact, I think he had a couple daughters there. But Coach Long, here's what strikes me about him, Jeff, and back me up on this. So he's one of those coaches that likes to yell, but when he's not yelling, he's always smiling on the bench. It kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, he plays the part of coach really well on the bench, but I don't think he takes the anger too serious. I think he yells for the kind of kids he coaches, but he is one of the nicest guys on the planet. You talk to him. I saw him at a couple Valley View football games. He's related somehow to the head football coach at Valley View. I don't know if it's a brother-in-law or what, but he goes to all the games. He's very supportive of the school. But, yeah, he's one of those guys that you look at, he can yell in one sentence and wink at you in the next. So he's one of those. But what a great coaches conference, though. And then you have Arlington High School, coached by John Seidel, another great coach. They're a little down this year, but you've got Yancey, Coach Showalter at Poly. And Yancey, just to win on the road in that league is tough. And they went into Valley View, beat them by 2, I believe. And it's going to be tough going into North, playing against the Huskies, playing against Valley View or Rancho Verde. That's a tough league.
Yeah, top to bottom. I'm glad you brought up the coaches, because top to bottom, I don't know if you'll find better coaches across the league. And again, I'm having fun with Coach Long, but yeah, he's one of those guys that, when he wants something done, like, he has no problem yelling it across the floor, and at the next moment, like, it just cracks me up. He's got this huge smile on his face, and the next moment he's yelling, and then he's got a smile, and then he's yelling, and then he's got a smile. So he's a good dude, and I love the way he coaches, and he almost picked off Poly last night. That's a good Valley View team.
Yeah, and he, like I said, does a great job. His wife's been a longtime coach there, and we look forward to watching these games as the season kind of gets kicking off this week as league play starts.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Big one tonight. Of course, the Citrus Belt League, they got so many teams. They already started league play. I think they're about 2 or 3 games deep now, but a big one tonight, Cajon taking on Citrus Valley. You can watch it live on IEMG, and we'll talk about it tomorrow on the Inland Sports Show. Well, before we let you go, let's bring everybody up to speed. Tomorrow night in men's basketball, the Big West home opener for the Highlanders, as you and I will have the call when they play UC Davis. Davis comes in at 10-5, Riverside 5-11. It's going to be a good one that you and I are going to call tomorrow night from the SRC Arena. Yeah, when you have head coach Justin Bell on the show in just a couple minutes, ask him what's his favorite pregame routine. Because remember, we used to talk about Coach Cutts, and he likes to go to his quiet place. He wants to kind of like visualize the game. He wants to not be disturbed. He wants to get locked in and focused. I'm just curious what Coach Bell is like. Does he listen to music? Does he like his quiet place? Like, what does he do to get his mind right? Can you ask him that for me? I will ask him that, and then I will also ask him if he likes a good pregame meal, because I'm always about the pregame meal. I know you're about the pregame meal. I don't know if Coach Bell is, but I know you are. Yeah, he's seriously fit, and I'm going to ask him. His wife is a coach at assistant coach at UC Riverside. He wears many hats. He's a new dad. He's got a wife as coaches. He's a busy guy. Yeah, I'd imagine that's hard. That's probably another great question you'll ask, Jeff, is the Bell family, the basketball family. His wife is an assistant for the women's team, but they're always traveling too. Like, watching kids and balancing family life when teams are going in opposite directions. Like, that's got to be tough. That's why you pack your daughter in the bag and you take her on the road with you. You just don't tell anybody. Is that how you do it? Is that how you did it? That's how I did it. That's how I got my baby Zika and his mini head. I put him in my briefcase, and I carry him with me. Yeah, I thought you bought that new suitcase for all the new broadcasting equipment we have. Now I found out it's actually for your son to go on road trips. You're darn right. He fits in it perfectly. He's only 1 still, so yeah, he's great. Well, Pep, we're going to let you go. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back with the Inland Sports Show and Coach Justin Bell of the UC Riverside Highlanders. We will be right back. Pep, you have a good call tonight. Thank you, brother. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. That's Pep Fernandez calling from the road. We'll be right back with the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350.
What's the matter with you, boy? You too stupid to do what your coach...
It's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college, which ends up making the future better for all of us. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Doesn't it look like I am ready? I am always ready. I have been ready since first call. I am ready. Roll.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox 1350 AM. I am in studio solo. Pep is on the road, getting ready to call a big basketball game for IEMG television. And we are now joined by head coach of your UC Riverside Highlanders, Justin Bell. Justin, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Before we get into the basketball stuff,
yeah,
are you having fun so far as the new head basketball coach at UC Riverside?
I'm having a great time. Yeah, having a great time. That's one thing I have written on my desk right here. Big letters, have fun. And I want to make sure I have fun and legitimately have fun because I want our players to feel that.
Now, what have you learned in your first week and a half or so on the job as the head basketball coach? Is there any big differences that have changed in your daily routine?
I've really, over the last couple of years, I've had some good mentors who gave me some good advice. They told me stuff like, try to approach work today as if you're the head coach and try to think like a head coach and start thinking like a head coach. So I really tried to do that over the last couple of years, and I think it really helped me in this transition. Obviously, there was some stuff that I wasn't, expecting to get. You get a lot of different emails or phone calls from administration and stuff you got to make decisions on. But with the basketball stuff, I feel like I was prepared as I could be. There's a lot of things that you just don't know. I keep telling people I only know what I know. I can only be responsible for that and continue to try to get better.
Well, Pep and I have been fortunate enough to cover you guys on the road, and I got to be pretty close with Coach Cutts, and I'm always interested as a former coach that I look at coaches. What is your pregame ritual? I know Coach Cutts used to kind of find himself a quiet spot and kind of meditate. What is your pregame ritual going into these games?
Are you talking about while I'm at the arena or before I get?
Right when you're at the arena, you got an hour before the game starts. What's your routine going into your games?
Yeah, I just try to. I don't necessarily know if I have a full routine. I kind of, if it's a road game, normally I'll stay kind of in my sweats and I'll wait to change into my suit kind of after we talk to the guys after the first time. Just make sure I get with my coaches. We're all set on what we're going to do. I don't know if it's so much a routine as it is more, preparation, just kind of preparing for what we think is going to go on out there as best we can and make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's.
Now, you have an interesting story. I don't know if many people know this, but your wife is an assistant basketball coach with the Highlanders as well.
Correct.
And you have a new daughter, basically. What is that like juggling? Both parents are basketball coaches. How tough is it juggling a little one at home while you guys are out on the road? What's the routine like for you guys?
It's we're real fortunate, both of us. She was working here prior to me coming on board on staff at UCR, but we're really fortunate. The Big West Conference is great just because there's not brutal travel. You talk about Fullerton, Irvine, Northridge, a lot of those schools. I'm home, and I leave and come home on the same day. So
yeah.
So it's really, really fortunate that it's not over the top brutal for us. We do have two wonderful retired grandparents who live 5 minutes from our house, and that helps us out a lot. That is a huge blessing.
We're fortunate enough. I think one of the best things about working in athletics is being able to involve your children in what you do. So we try to bring her around to practice or shoot around and stuff like that as much as we can.
Well, she might become a player, Coach. Just know it might happen.
Hopefully she takes after her mom, because her mom was a lot better player than I was. So hopefully she takes after her on that side.
Well, we are joined now by head coach of the UC Riverside Highlanders, Justin Bell. Justin, you're looking for your first win as a head coach, and you're playing a very good UC Davis team tomorrow. What do you guys have to do to adjust after playing on the road the first two games and then coming at home? What are you expecting from this UC Davis team tomorrow night?
They're going to play hard. They're going to play really aggressive. You know, one thing about UC Davis, they're really consistent with their effort, consistent with their defense. So they're going to bring it. You know, we expect nothing else, and we got to bring it and try to match that intensity.
And they have a pretty special player in Shima Maneki, who comes in averaging 19 points and 10 rebounds. What are you guys going to have to do to stop that big man who can kind of stretch the floor and kind of play all positions?
I think one of the biggest things is if you look at his stats, he shoots 8 free throws a game. You know, I think we got to keep him off the line and make sure we keep our hands up and no +1 fouls. We don't want to give him any +1 fouls out there. We just want to make sure that we give him a good hard look. And obviously he's at 20 and 10, so we just want to make it really tough for him.
Yeah, and you guys have had it tough. You opened with Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton's 2-0. You play a UC Santa Barbara team that's much improved. I mean, they had 2 graduate transfers that really changed their look of their team this year. And then you're playing a tournament team that was in the tournament last year in UC Davis. You've changed the way the Highlanders have started. You've come out and played a lot more man-to-man. We've seen a lot more guys that maybe haven't played as much with Eric Wahryer and DJ Sylvester. What do those guys mean to you? Because really we haven't seen them until you kind of took over as the head coach.
I mean, those guys have given great efforts in practice, and I just gave them a turn, you know, and they've made the best of it. You know, to keep it simple. They've worked hard. They got in the games, and they've produced. And that's just kind of the simple answer. You know, I told them, you know, you keep producing in the games, you keep producing in practice, and you build confidence with all of us, and players and coaches, and you just kind of go from there.
Well, you have several local products on your team. You know, Dikembe Martin out of John W. North, Dominic Pickett out of Rancho Verde, and the young freshman, Johnny Kennedy, who's really played well as of late. Most freshmen will start the year well and kind of taper out. He seems to have gotten a lot better as the year's gone on. What do you see in that young man and his future at UC Riverside?
Yeah, he's doing it. We got one more, too, which is Alec Hickman. You know, he's a local Riverside, even though he went to J. Sarah High School, so I want to make sure he gets mentioned also. But, you know, Johnny's getting better. He's improving every day. You know, he's got really good basketball instincts if you've seen him play. Very instinctual in kind of his movements and anticipating the ball. You know, he played football in high school for a little bit, so you know, he's been a pleasant surprise for us.
Yeah, he seems to be at the right place at the right time and has a knack to. He can stretch the floor because he can shoot. He's athletic and can rebound. He's one of those guys that really will help. I think will be a key going into this Big West play.
Absolutely. We want to make sure he gets more confidence, and, you know, we want to keep building him up as the season goes on.
Now, the Highlanders have had problems as of late, kind of digging themselves a hole in the first half. The second half, every game virtually the entire year, other than a couple hiccups with Michigan and maybe that Seattle University game, you guys have been in every single game, but you've had to play catch-up. What are you doing in practice to adjust so that you guys don't dig yourself that hole going into the games?
Yeah, we just gotta come out very, very focused, and we gotta come out with a sense of urgency from the tip. You know, I think our guys know that. I think that they're trying to execute that. You know, unfortunately, the Santa Barbara game got the lights out for the game to start. However, I thought we gave a great effort. I didn't think that effort was the issue. I thought it was more of
of them, kind of really stroking it, put ourselves in a hole. But we just gotta stick to the plan and come out with a sense of urgency and just kind of let it rip early.
Yeah, I noticed that you guys earlier in the season, you guys started off playing a lot of zone, starting the game, and have come out and pressed and shown a lot of man-to-man. Does that get your guys kind of going so that they're not going to be in a lackadaisical haze going into the game? It forces them to play tough defense, correct?
Yeah, we want to create some energy. We want to make sure we create our own energy, and that's kind of the deal. We don't want offense or threes going in or dunks to create our energy. We want to create energy by getting stops and being aggressive early.
Well, I will say this. I've watched every game this year, and I think that you have a great group of guys. They play so hard. They never give up. Despite being down at times, they've always dug themselves out of the hole. And I think this team you guys have built at UC Riverside is built for the Big West. You have bigs that can play with their backs to the basket, which is pretty rare in the Big West. There aren't too many teams like you guys that are built for the Big West. How do you see yourselves going from now on here to finish out the year?
Yeah, we want to continue to use our strengths, what they are, and evolve as a program to make sure that we could utilize those strengths in Big West play. Hopefully, and make people change and change their style for us, and not vice versa. So we're continuing to build that, continuing to build confidence, continue to build strength in our players, so they understand, hey, we want to go out and we want to be the aggressor. We want to throw the first punch and make people adjust and not us have to adjust.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you joining us on the Inland Sports Show tonight. We will be on the call. Pep Fernandez and I will be on the call for UC Davis back home at the SRC Arena. Game time, 7 o'clock. Coach, thank you very much for joining us on the Inland Sports Show, and we will see you tomorrow.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
That is, once again, Justin Bell, head coach of the UC Riverside Highlanders. Tomorrow night, Pep and I will have the call versus UC Davis. Davis comes in at 10-5, 1-0 in the Big West, and they will play again on Saturday night at 6 p.m., where they will take on Long Beach State. Long Beach State comes in at 7-11 on the year, 1-1 in conference. But their last game, they lost to UC Irvine 86-73. And UC Davis comes into the contest tomorrow night with a big win over UC Irvine, 64-53. And they're led by Shima Maneki, who averages 19 points and 10 rebounds per game. It's going to be a tough one for UC Riverside. But we will be there on the call from the SRC Arena, Pep Fernandez and I. We will take a short break. We will be right back. And we will talk about the biggest game in history, the All-Star Game put on by Jim Clover, and it will be played Friday at Centennial High School. We will get more into it when we come back from the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
This bumper's gonna go on the wall of my garage, carnal. I'm gonna put a little sign under it. It's gonna say, this bumper was pulled off by the bus of Salinas. ¿Verdad? I mean, anything.
adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back. We are here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350, and we are brought to you by a Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Ken Sporting Goods for all of your sporting goods needs, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. Well, we are back. We just talked with head coach of the UC Riverside Highlanders, Justin Bell, and we are joined by a mystery guest. Mystery guest, how are you tonight?
Why is it when you have Ramey on, you always have him in the 4 o'clock slot, and when you have me on, I'm always in the 5 o'clock slot?
Because he's a musician, so he has to go out early. Because if you get him later, he's done.
I got to tell you something about Coach Bell. I know Coach Bell a little bit because I covered his wife when she was playing on the UCR women's team years ago, Sarum Bell, who at the time was Sarum Bolaño. We're going to give you a little trivia about the Bells.
Yeah, give me a little trivia.
Next time you see Sarum, you can ask her what her middle name is. Because I'll tell you, she won't tell you her real middle name because she doesn't like it. Her middle name is Delilah.
Delilah, that's a pretty name.
Yeah, and she won't tell you this because she's too humble. She is the 5th all-time leading scorer in UC Riverside women's basketball history. She scored over 1,400 points for the Highlanders and played in 2 NCAA tournaments.
That's pretty impressive because, Justin Bell, when I was coaching at Riverside Community College, he was playing for Saddleback and beat me to go on to win a state championship.
Sarum was a 4-year starter, and she went to the NCAA tournament as a freshman.
That's pretty impressive. Now, we are joined by Ghazal Hassan, the voice of the UC Riverside Highlander baseball team, but you are double duty tonight. You are with Cal State Northridge, and where are you this evening in the Big West?
In the city they call Long Beach, Jeffrey. I'm in the courtside at the Walter Pyramid, the Matadors and the 49ers. It's a Wednesday night affair in the Big West, the only one tonight. I know most of the teams are playing Thursday, but we got an early one because the people at Fox wanted to air some Big West basketball. So they're here, but so are we.
Well, now how are the Matadors doing so far in the Big West?
Well, the record is 3-12. So that should convey to you how well they're doing. However, they played Long Beach very well. They swept the Beach last year, and they tend to play better when it's more of an up-and-down game, and I have a feeling tonight will be an up-and-down game between the Beach and CSUN. So you got Long Beach State, who's very good at home. I think over the last 10 years, they've won 82% of their games at home. They're 43-12 over the last 4 seasons plus. But the Matadors won here last year, and so they're trying to win back-to-back road games at Walter Pyramid for the first time since 08-09. So it should be a good one tonight. It should be exciting tonight.
Well, you guys are playing against Long Beach State. Long Beach State has a couple Inland Empire products. A Centennial player, Jordan Griffin, he's a pretty good player. I believe he is a junior now.
Yeah, Jordan Griffin is starting. It's his sophomore year. And I know, here's an interesting tidbit about him. He was the leading scorer on the Centennial team back in 2016, even though Ike Anibogu was on the team with him. So that's pretty impressive. He was playing with a guy who's now in the NBA, yet he was the leading scorer.
Well, the Ike Anibogu, he just rebounded and passed to the scorers. That's all he ever did. But when you're 7 feet tall and you have a wingspan of about 9 feet, you can do those kind of things.
He dunked a few times, too. And I know Jordan also, they went in the state semi when he was a junior, and he was also the leading scorer that year. So he's having a pretty good year. He's 6th in the Big West in three-point shooting. He's a 44% shooter. He's from Centennial. That's a pretty good, he's developing. I think next year will be his big year at Long Beach State.
We're here with Ghazal Hassan, the voice of the Cal State Northridge Matadors, and you guys played one game last week because of the Hawaii situation. So this week you're playing two. Who do you have on Saturday?
Home against Irvine on Saturday, and then next Wednesday, I'm hoping to be with you live, Jeffrey, because the Matadors come to play at UCR, so I'll get to see you, and we'll have to meet for a pregame meal somewhere.
We definitely will. Maybe we'll have a nice feast here in studio as we do the call. We do the Inland Sports Show here. We'll definitely have you on. The Highlanders are coming in, losing 2 on the road, but they have 3 at home coming up. They have UC Davis tomorrow, and they play Long Beach State on Saturday. Now, you've watched a little bit and listened to Pep and I on the GoHighlanders.com. What do you think of the Highlanders so far this year?
You know, they're a typical Highlander team. They play tough. They play smart. You know, they've played 2 close games. And I have a feeling as this team gets more experience and kind of gets more comfortable under Coach Bell, the good things will happen for them. You know, they have the 2 things. They have size, which is big this year in the Big West, because not a lot of teams have size. And obviously, this goes back to Coach Cuts. The Highlanders always play hard. Even when they're not, shots aren't falling, they always play hard. Now, that isn't always worth all that much. When you're down 40, nobody cares if you're playing hard. But they tend to stick around in games. And you know how that goes, Coach. If you stick around in enough games, by the time you're later into the season, you're confident, you're tested, and you're going to win some of those games.
Yeah, and I've seen, you know, I've been on the road with the Highlanders all season. I've seen them play great. I saw them play, it sounds funny, I saw them play the best 8 minutes of basketball I've seen any team play all year up at Pepperdine. They came up a little short. They've seemed to kind of dig themselves a hole early in every ball game. But if they put together a complete game of 40 minutes, they're pretty tough to stop. But they do play a very good UC Davis team tomorrow, which Davis was in the tournament last year, and they're led by a very good player. I know you know who he is, Shima Maneki.
You know, Maneki is good, obviously very explosive. He's very interesting. You know, he came to Davis from Australia, but his parents are actually Nigerian diplomats. And because of the nature of their work, and he was international, he didn't see them for about 5 years. I think they came to see him play last year. It was the first time they'd seen him physically face to face since about 2011. Now, the family is very close knit. He's got like cousins and brothers who are in Australia with him, and they keep in touch via Skype and that kind of stuff. But he hadn't actually physically seen his parents for almost 5 years when they came to see him play for the first time at UC Davis last season.
Yeah, he's an impressive player. We had a chance to see him last year twice. So, yes, the Highlanders definitely have their hands full tomorrow night as they play in the SRC Arena at 7 p.m. Pep Fernandez and I will have the call. But we are still here with Ghazal Hassan. Ghazal, there's something going on without you and I this Friday night that I'm a little, or this Saturday night that I'm a little sad you and I aren't a part of. Do you know what that is?
The Inland All-Star Game.
Yes, Riverside TV will be covering the game. Pep Fernandez and Vinny Fazio will have the call. But I do feel bad because you and I should be there calling that game.
Well, we're doing basketball, so it's not like, you know, not like you threw us out. But Jenny Phillips will be there. You know, let me tell you about Fazio, okay? Who is he kidding? He's going to stop coaching and become a media personality. John Gruden goes back into coaching, which means Fazio should stay out. He should be a media guy. He's very good at it. He should be your high school football maven next year on Inland Sports.
Yeah, he's really good. You know, the best part is he wears a nice bow tie to all of his games, a jacket and bow tie. That's something that you and I couldn't pull off.
Wait, is he trying to be a 5%er?
Yes.
You know, he's got the bow tie on, you know.
Well,
we'll call him, his 5%er name would be Supreme Intensity.
Well, Vinny, like you said, Vinny Fazio and Pep Fernandez will have the call on the 33rd annual IE All-Star Classic, the biggest game in history.
Jenny Phillips.
I know, everybody's excited about Jenny Phillips. I'm going to go to the game after the UCR game just so I can say hello to Jenny Phillips.
There you go.
Well, Ghazal, thank you so much, and we hope you have a great call tonight as the Northridge Matadors take on a Long Beach State from the Pyramid. Thank you again, Ghazal. Maybe you can call in tomorrow with a recap of tonight's game.
I'll definitely check in with you guys, and I look forward to seeing both of you on Wednesday at the SRC. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Ghazal Hassan, the voice of UC Riverside Baseball and Cal State Northridge Basketball. Well, we will be right back with more from the Inland Sports Show on Fox 1350 AM. We will be talking about that IE All-Star Classic, January 13 at Centennial High School. We'll be right back after these messages.
Do you think people will vote for me?
Heck yes. I'd vote for you.
Like, what are my skills?
Well, you have a sweet bike.
hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
We are back live from the Fox studios. This is the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. I am Jeff Gorham. I am not joined by Pep Fernandez, who is out covering a basketball game, which I should be doing because he is a soccer legend. Well, we got a couple things to talk about here. Saturday night, January 13th, it is labeled the biggest game in history. It's the 33rd annual IE All-Star Classic at Centennial High School, where Coach Matheny will lead the San Bernardino All-Stars, and they will be going against the home guy, Coach, the Sith Lord. He will be taking on Centennial High School's greatest coach of all time, Matt Logan. Tickets will be $8 for students, $10 for adults, and 4 and under will be free. It is a great game. It is run by Jim Clover. Jim Clover will join us tomorrow in studio to talk about the IE All-Star Classic. They've given away $175,000 in scholarship money to various individuals over the 33 years. It is the longest running game in the state of California, and it is the best game and biggest game in history. Once again, Friday, we will be announcing Mr. Football in the Inland Empire. He will be our Inland Sports Most Valuable Player of the Year. We have 11 finalists. We're going to go over it really quickly here before we head off into La La Land. Marietta Valley's Hank Bachmeyer and Marquis Spiker are part of this 11-man crew. Heritage running back Sherrod White, Paloma Valley quarterback Chance Nolan, and the video game highlight himself, Jaden Daniels, the junior out of Cajon High School, and another receiver out of Cajon, Darren Jones, a 6'8" wide receiver, whom everybody is on his recruiting list. Centennial's quarterback Tanner McKee, Aquinas running back St. Brandon Rankins, who holds every record in the City of Champions of San Bernardino. Citrus Hill quarterback Jonathan Jefferson, Kaiser running back Tyler Algier, and Norco running back Travis Dye. Those are our 11 finalists. We will open the phone lines tomorrow to discuss who you think should be Mr. Football in the Inland Empire. Well, that will pretty much do it for the night, but before we go, we're going to thank our sponsors. We had Spoiled, quick quality oil change, Ken's Sporting Goods for all of your sporting goods needs, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. Well, that will do it for a Wednesday night here on the Inland Sports Show. We will be joined tomorrow by Vinny Fazio talking about the IE Classic. We will have Tim Hatch in studio, and it will be another fun-filled day on the Inland Sports Show. So thank you. Thank you for listening to Fox Sports 1350 and the Inland Sports Show. I'm Jeff Gorham. Good night.
Update is brought to you by Geico. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more.